You can check it all out on the FanDuel app. Sometime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED and go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 or $447-6600, or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers. Not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
You guys just don't understand how thrilled I am with the moves that the Chiefs are making. Rob, in the opening game of last season, it set the tone for the rest of the year. The Chiefs had a couple of injuries. The Chiefs had a suspension with Rashee Rice, and they needed to be able to rely on their run game. In the opening game of the season, the Chiefs ran the ball 10 times with their running backs for 41 yards. This was a theme the entire season. You don't understand how frustrating it was for me sitting here having to pull my hair out day after day on the text line, reading you guys trying to justify how good Kareem Hunt is, averaging 3.7 yards per carry, or asking why Bashard Smith couldn't get more of an opportunity. Well, when they gave him an opportunity, he ran for 3.4 yards per carry. This was a declaration by the Chiefs. The issue last year was not our offensive line. It was a little bit of coaching sprinkled in with, we just had bad running backs. But in true Brett Veach fashion, we are not letting this happen again. No, we are going to get juice back into that running back room. We think that this can help open up the rest of the offense. Why do you have to respect play action? Why do you have to respect RPOs when we don't run the football effectively? This, making them a more well-rounded offense, is in the best interest of everybody. I will give you one stat that tells you how bad the Chiefs were at running the football last year. Isaiah Pacheco had 40 more yards than Patrick Mahomes rushing, despite having 54 more carries than Patrick Mahomes last year. Patrick Mahomes had 5 rushing touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco had 1 rushing touchdown. They have upgraded so substantially in the run game department that is going to make everybody's job easier. And it's not just that, because that's not all they've done. Yes, they went out and they got Kenneth Walker. They got DeMarcado. They got Emmett Johnson in the draft. It's not just that. They also are done with the defensive lineman rotation that they have thrown out there for the last couple of years. We're done depending on Derek Nottie or Mike Dana or Jerry Tillery, who started for this team. Think of last year, the first game of the season. Rob, their starting defensive line was Jerry Tillery, Mike Dana, and Chris Jones. Mike Dana couldn't find the quarterback with the compass. Jerry Tillery had 1.5 sacks last year and had 12 tackles. We're done doing this. We're going to get more youthful. We're going to get more explosive. We're going to get guys that we can teach up. We're going to get guys that fit our defense, and we are going to be more aggressive. This is a great thing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I love their plan. I love their execution. I love the vision of all of this. I do think there's going to have to be a measure of patience that we are going to have to show with this defense, and understanding that they are not going to have things figured out by week 1. But a problem with last year's defense is usually the Chiefs start to figure some things out in late October, early November. When it starts to get cold and the leaves start to change and you're changing the Halloween decorations to Thanksgiving decorations, is normally when you see a Spags defense really start to take shape. They did not have that ability last year. I believe they're going to have the ability to do that. This is building the foundation for what the future looks like. You don't have to hit on all of these picks. Nobody expects you to hit on all of these picks. But now you've given yourself some options when it comes to the defensive line. You've given yourself some options when it comes to the secondary. Rob, I'm happy. I'm thrilled. But I know when I pass it to you in the corner and I expect you to knock it down, I know you're going to come on here with your negativity, your gosh darn negativity. I don't need it, but the show can't just be me talking all the time. Tell us why you hate their draft.
I mean, their draft's fine. It's a B plus maybe, B minus. It's in the B range. I don't think it's an elite draft. I don't think it's the best draft in the NFL. I don't think if you turned on whatever your favorite talking head show is today, whether it be Nick Wright, whether it be Danny Parkins, Sports Center, whichever one you pick today, I don't think they're saying the Chiefs were the best draft. Their draft was fine. They got a really good corner. I did not like the process to get that corner, but we talked about that on Friday. They then, in day 2, added a pass rusher. Is he a Spags, quote, fit of an edge rusher? Not really. Is everyone saying his obvious comp is D Ford? Yes. But do I think there's value in a speed rusher? Is there a value in a Nick Bonito type? Absolutely 1,000%. Do I think they walked away better in the receiving room? Nope. Do I think their O-line is better? Also, no. B, I'm not on here singing the praise of the Chiefs. I sing great. You put it on the fridge, but you're not telling your neighbors about it.
This is the thing. Do you remember, and you guys might remember this, 91358. It was, if I could show you the stats of a Royals pitcher and of a Royals position player, which one would you pick? If I showed you the end of the season, so it is October 1st, and I could hand you, hey, this is what that guy's going to do, who would you pick? Remember that topic? We did that, Rob? You remember that? There's only one person you need to do that with the Kansas City Chiefs, on offense or defense. If you were telling me right now on April 27th that you were going to show me the end of the season stats for one person, I know exactly who I would pick. It is Rashee Rice. If Rashee Rice figures it out, this team will be very, very good this year. If you showed me a piece of paper and it said that Rashee Rice had 45 catches for 600 yards and he couldn't finish the season with an injury, I'm going to guess that their offense really struggled at times. This is a clear admission from the Kansas City Chiefs. It could be stubbornness, but I would say the room that they did the most work on of all of the units, I guess you could say secondary, but they voluntarily let those guys go. They could have got Jalen Watson if they wanted to. They didn't want to pay the price. They did not have to move on from Trent McDuffie. He was still under contract. They made the decision to take the assets now and move on from Trent McDuffie. I'm not mad at that decision. The room that they improved the most was the running back room. The room that they made the least amount of improvements with is that wide receiver room. They are heavily invested. One thing that I will push back on, and I was happy to see my guy Jeff Schwartz come out and say this, you can't say that they haven't invested in the offense. They have absolutely invested in their offense. Now, they didn't invest in their offense, I would say, from a draft pick standpoint in this year's NFL draft. But their left tackle, they spent the first-round pick. Their left guard, they spent the second-round pick. Their center is the highest paid at his position. They spent the second-round pick on. Their right guard, yes, he was a sixth-round pick, but he is now turned into a Pro Bowl caliber kind of player. They have invested in their right tackle. They have spent a first and a second-round pick on a wide receiver. They brought back a Hall of Fame tight end. They went out of free agency to go get Kenneth Walker. They have given Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes a whole lot to work with. Now bringing back Eric Bieniemy, we'll talk about who another seems very realistic option can be, but they have spent a lot of resources to get this offense right. They now needed to spend the resource to completely start over on defense. And what does this defense look like for 26, 27, 28? And they have started the foundation of that. They have invested in their defensive line. They have completely reset and started over with the secondary and got rookie contracts. This allows you the freedom to continue to go out in the draft and spin big in free agency and do some of these other moves for your offense if these things don't work out. I think this is a nice reset and a nice refresh for Kansas City.
I do think, though, and this is why the draft is it's such a crapshoot. I agree with you. I agree with Jeff Schwartz. The Chiefs, I think the knock on the Chiefs, they don't invest in the offense is largely overblown. To your point, they have made the investment. But it's not just about the investment, Carrington. We're in a results-based industry. The Chiefs' investment in their offense has not yielded the fruit that they thought it should. Xavier Worthy, you're right. He's a first-round draft pick. Has he played at any point like a first-round draft pick? So just because they made the investment of a first-round pick doesn't work. Fans view it as not investing enough. Offensive lines, they were going to get the, hoorays and stuff from fans. That's different. Rashee Rice had one good year. Then of his own accord, took himself off the field for a while and got hurt. It is an investment, but the results have not matched the investment.
I agree with that.
Been a solid player, not an elite player. Travis Kelce, maybe the greatest tight end of all time. He has been diminishing in his returns. They keep paying him, and they should. He's a good player. But he's not the player he was in 2022. So I will defend fans a little bit who say, well, they don't really invest in offense. They do invest in offense. That investment has not had great ROI if you're looking for it. So one of the reasons why, and some of the text line says that draft grades are silly. I do think draft grades are kind of silly is, you're right. This draft, they've made a big investment in their defense. Let's wait for the ROI before we say the investment has worked out, because it's possible they drafted a Xavier Worthy type on defense. A first-round pick who's not worth it. We don't know until they're in pads, at least in St. Joe.
No, 100%. You can't come out and say the plan has worked without seeing the plan in action. But you at least have the foundation of the plan, and now we can do a very simple evaluation of pass or fail on if they were successful in their execution of the plan. Now, let's go ahead and further this conversation, because I remember when this idea was completely shot down. Now, Rob, you remember, what were the words that I was saying I wanted the Chiefs to be? I wanted them to be younger and more dynamic. I think the Chiefs have accomplished that. Look at their team. Their team is young. We'll see how dynamic they are. But your running back is under 27 years old. Your wide receivers. The Chiefs have gotten relatively young right before our eyes. I thought the Chiefs looked old at times. I thought they looked slow at times last year. They have tried to remedy that problem in one offseason. Good for them. Now, in my opinion, is where you bring in the established veterans that could potentially help put you over the hump. Now, text line, this is not a Johnny-come-lately take. You've been here, 913-586-7965. You remember when I wanted them to go get Cam Jordan? I will be absolutely campaigning for Cam Jordan between now and whenever he signs. It just makes so much sense to me. This is a guy who you are trying to get on a 1-year deal. You don't need him on a 2-year deal. This is not a forever thing. This is a tonight thing. He got 10.5 sacks last year. He would have led the Chiefs in sacks last year. Go get Cam Jordan. That's not taken away from your young guys. No one thinks that Cam Jordan is playing 70% of snaps. He's going to play 25 to 35% of snaps. But if you're going to get a guy with a proven track record of being able to get to the other team's quarterback, please go get Cam Jordan. Now, here's another name that you guys might not want to talk about, but we have to talk about it. You know who would be a very clear upgrade in the wide receiver room and maybe wouldn't cost you a whole lot? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, he's their version of Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had a very productive season last year. Keenan Allen last year for the Los Angeles Chargers had 81 catches for 777 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think that's who Tyreek Hill can be. He can come in here. You already know the offense. You already know the lay of the land. You know the quarterback. You know the tight end. You know the head coach. You know the offensive coordinator. You know the playbook. You know the scheme. You've worked with Chad O'Shea before. 2 veteran moves that would make a whole lot of sense for Kansas City is making a phone call to go get Cam Jordan, maybe giving him a 1-year, $10 million deal that could be up to $15 million in incentives. We see a lot of teams sign these veteran pass rushers. Get him to the Jadeveon Clowney deal, who has turned into a football mercenary. That's what you should turn Cam Jordan into, a football mercenary who can play mostly on third downs, can come in and help develop some of these young guys, because they got a lot of young defensive linemen that can certainly learn from Cam Jordan. Whether it's Gelati, whether it's George Karlaftis, just having that guy in the locker room who is a potential Hall of Fame player would be a big positive. And just bringing Tyreek Hill in. I know you got to hold your nose a little bit, and I know you got to deal with some of the personality and off the field stuff, but if you were looking at 2 moves now that the draft is over, that the dust is settled, that they could make on 1-year deals to fix some holes, to plug in a gap, that could make a noticeable difference on the team, I think it's Tyreek Hill and Cam Jordan.
I am so happy you made the Keenan Allen comparison, because when it comes to things you say on the show, I was here last year. What did you say when the notion of signing Keenan Allen came up at this time last year all the way through camp?
There was a reason why he was still available.
Do those things apply to Cam Jordan and Tyreek Hill?
For sure.
Because you were adamant you don't need to sign Keenan Allen, and a player who's sitting out the summer and catching beach vibes without a paycheck is probably not the kind of player that is best suited for this roster. So Tyreek Hill, who is coming off a major injury. We'll take Tyreek first. Major injury.
For sure.
I feel like might be a risk the Chiefs don't need to take. If you feel like Rashee Rice is going to, he's not going to be suspended. If you feel like you can get him back to 2022 or 2023, Rashee Rice, I don't know if you need Tyreek Hill. I don't know they're bringing in Tyreek Hill aids in the development of Xavier Worthy, because it probably takes away Xavier Worthy's snaps, which are probably more valuable than watching Tyreek Hill. So that's why I'm a no on Tyreek.
I honestly don't know if that's the case, to be completely honest with you about it. I don't know if that's the case.
I think Tyreek Hill would take Xavier Worthy's snaps.
No, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying I don't know if taking snaps away from Xavier Worthy is a bad thing. You were saying it like it is a negative. You were saying it like that is not something you should be doing. I think whatever team I made this bet with you before. Whatever team Tyreek Hill plays with in 2026, I am willing to bet that he has more yards than Xavier Worthy does. I think he still has a higher ceiling than Xavier Worthy.
What if he doesn't play? What if he doesn't play in 2026?
I think he is going to play. Now I could be wrong. I don't have access to his medicals. You are 100% right. That could be the case. I believe that Tyreek Hill is going to play at some point in 2026. I think he's a high level route runner. I also think that his skill set, I think he's a good enough receiver that even if he is not the speedster cheetah that Kansas City and the league is used to, I think he is a good enough route runner. I think he's a good enough high ball catcher. I think he will be motivated enough to prove people wrong and come back to Kansas City in a familiar situation. I think the fit just makes a lot of sense. I also just think the money is going to be a little bit better than people think for Tyreek. I don't know if there's a market that's going to really emerge where you're going to be in a high bidding war for Tyreek Hill. Now, he could overvalue himself, but if Tyreek is looking for a place of redemption and wants to go back to a place that's familiar, and I think not winning affected Tyreek a little bit more than we remember. Like, I think Tyreek just makes a lot of sense in Kansas City. I'd be willing to put that phone call in. Let's see how the rest of OTAs goes. Continue to monitor his situation. But once we get close to August 1st, those are 2 phone calls that I'm willing to put in. I'm willing to put a phone call in for Cam Jordan and see what the money looks like because I think he's going to play next year. I'd also be willing to put a phone call in on Tyreek Hill.
Would you willing to put a phone call in on Juwan Jennings? Because I'd be more interested in Juwan Jennings than I'd be Tyreek Hill. Again, I don't have access to medicals. You don't have access to medicals.
This will be my issue with Juwan Jennings.
At least he was healthy last year. That's one reason I'd be interested in him.
And Juwan Jennings is still good. My issue would be is for a guy his age, while he's still available, I think it is a more personality thing than anything. You very rarely hear other NFL players say, I'm happy that he got punched in the nuts. You just don't hear other NFL players say that about somebody. I don't think anybody is denying Juwan Jennings can play. I think Juwan Jennings is difficult to deal with, and that's why teams are kind of keeping him at bay. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is difficult to deal with in the locker room, and if there is an organization that knows how to deal with Tyreek Hill, I think it's Kansas City. I'm not denying the player of Juwan Jennings. I would just be very, very surprised if an organization like Kansas City was willing to bring in somebody else's problem, because I don't get why Juwan Jennings would be available. He's been healthy these last couple of years. He's been productive these last couple of years. I think Juwan Jennings is a good player. But at 28 years old, it is surprising to me that he doesn't really seem to have a market at all for him.
Now, I will say this last thing about, and this applies to both Hill and Jordan. When was the last time, and I don't think it's never happened, but when was the last time you saw Brett Veach go sign the 1-year veteran mercenary, go win type? Historically, in free agency, what Brett Veach has targeted is dudes who are 25 to 29. Now, I know Tyreek Hill probably still is younger in age than maybe his body because of his health, but it's not like the Chiefs have been out here signing, guys in their final sunset of their career to come chase a ring. It doesn't really happen.
Every team does that, though, at some point. You're right in Kansas City, though. This is not something they usually do.
You're right. It happens everywhere. We can name players that happen in Kansas City. It has not been historically something Brett Veach has targeted, and usually when they are signing players post-draft, it's the Brett Veach special more often than it is, hey, guys trying one last go-round of the Super Bowl before he gives up the dream and tries to head to Canton. That's not really who the Chiefs target in free agency.
Where's the pass rush coming from if they don't go get Cam Jordan? Where do you think it's coming from?
I think they think it's coming. I guess my answer and the Chiefs' answer is different. I believe that it's still a necessity. And I don't know that 240-pound R. Mason Thomas, which is going to get tough for me to realize the R. Mason Thomas, but whatever, is the answer. I think they believe Chris Jones and George Karlaftis are going to get back to what they did in 2024. I think they believe that Chris Jones and George Karlaftis had a down year, and an offseason to get the body right will fix the problem, combined with more youth in the room. I don't know I love their plan, but I think that is their plan as it sits right now.
So a lot of people are bringing up the Terrell Suggs conversation.
That was that's not the same at all.
I also think Suggs is different. Suggs was on a team, got released. They just put in a waiver claim. They owed him no money. This would be more like what the Bills did to go get Bosa. We see teams kind of do those moves. Now, some people are bringing up Melvin Ingram. That's who I think Cam Jordan could be. I think Cam Jordan could be this team's version of Melvin Ingram.
They also traded for him. Not apologize for everything.
Yeah, no, but
so that's not this. They traded for him mid-season, so it's not the same.
I'm just saying that idea of a player is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That ideal of a player. That ideal. So on the text line, so C-Dot, you're saying Veach doesn't overpay for aging free agents. No, but I think the concept of it is just free agency is overpaying. I think right now, if you are looking at it, you have an opportunity with a couple of veteran players to one-on-one fill in a gap. One-to-one. Pass rush is an issue. Go get Cam Jordan. Wide receiver is an issue. Go get Tyreek Hill. That's what I would say free agency is after this point. This is what free agency is. After you get through the draft, you were looking at, hey, who's still available? Can we find this guy? And it's not like they don't have success with. I mean, that's how they got Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was available. They found a player. He ended up really being a positive for them. I think they can do that again. They'll probably do this at some point, I would say, with the secondary player. I mean, they're not done adding to their roster. Guys get cut, guys get injured. There's a lot of roster maneuvering that is going to happen. Those are just two positions that I think just make a lot of sense for them. Coming up at the top of the hour, Nate Taylor is going to join us in studio for the 3 o'clock hour. A lot of draft stuff to talk to him about. We got a little bit of time to take phone calls, 913-586-7965. We can read your text if you would like as well. We're talking draft here on The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
Tune in to hear the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
There's a high fly ball, deep left center. That goes Ward to the wall. Gone. Bobby Witt Jr.
Every Monday at 3, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boosts. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLERS. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal. A delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal. A satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Ellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. If you're carrying a lot of credit card or personal loan debt, every month can start to feel the same. All those bills, all those due dates, all that stress. There's a solution that's designed to make it easier for you. National Debt Relief could put you on the fast track to paying off your credit card debt, personal loans, and even medical debt for less than you owe, with just one low monthly payment you can afford. And no, it's not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. It's a real, affordable debt relief program that could save you lots of money. National Debt Relief has already helped over 1 million people with their debt and has thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So if you owe $10,000 or more, don't wait. Call 800-300-4411 now to see if you qualify. That's 800-300-4411. One call could help reduce what you owe and simplify your monthly payments. Call 800-300-4411 now to find out how much you could save.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
This afternoon, expect a mix of sun and slight showers with a high of 79.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I want to play some audio for you guys, and Nate Taylor is going to join us in studio coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. I'm going to ask him some questions. You guys are going to ask him some questions. Fun will be had. Let's start with our dear brother, Nick Wright. Here he is after the first round of the NFL draft talking about their selection to go get Mansour Delane.
They address secondary and defensive line in this draft. Now, I still think they need an edge rusher, and it is going to be tricky trying to get, they don't have a third-round pick now, so they're going to get either an edge rusher or a receiver at 40. But offensive line, to me, would have been a disaster. I never, and I think Veach is telling us they weren't going to do it. Wide receiver would have been great if it was Tate. Tyson's injury stuff scares me. I will trust that they're right on Delane. You paid a lot for him. Now, last decade, corners that go in the top 10 are awesome. Like it's Pat Surtain, it's J.C. Horn, it's Sauce, it's Stingley, it's, the best corner. It's Devin Witherspoon, went number 5. Yeah. It's great corners. If he's a player like that, this obviously works. And then you see if Woods can be the guy he was a year ago, but listen, I thought Bain was the guy. I clearly valued Bain more than the rest of the league as he fell to 15. I thought Downs made sense. Downs falls to 11. So that's where it fell.
Can I read something to you guys? Because I think it is a nice window into how the Chiefs were thinking. This is from Albert Breer. As the draft grew closer and the Chiefs gamed it out, they figured if they stayed at 9 and they had lost Delane, they were going to end up with safety Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson. Then they would probably have to move up to land Chris Johnson, the corner from San Diego State, but they would probably have to give up a 3rd or a 4th rounder to do it. So the Chiefs followed the logic. Why not just give up the 3rd rounder and get the player that they liked even more? So that's just a little bit of a window into why the Chiefs ended up making the pick for Mansour Delane. They were going to get a corner in the first round, it sounds like. If you were going off Albert Breer, and I think he is one of the more sourced guys out there, the Chiefs had it in their mind that they were going to go get a corner. Now, if you were looking at it, Chris Johnson didn't go until 27. So you probably wouldn't have had to trade that 3rd round pick, but you never know how the board is going to continue to fall. Rob, did you notice a name that was not a part of that? A name was not Ruben Bain. I know that fans had pigeonholed them into going to get Ruben Bain. I don't think the Chiefs were drafting Ruben Bain. I don't think we really have any reason to believe that they were going to draft him. If you trust Breer's reporting, and I do, they had Delane as a top 5 player, and their fail-safe was, well, if we don't get him, we can go get Caleb Downs, who was on the board at number 9, or we could go get Jordan Tyson, who just went off the board at number 8. The Chiefs deemed corner.
I think now, as the dust has settled, it's pretty clear that the Chiefs did not care for Ruben Bain the way that someone like me cared for Ruben Bain, which is fine. We'll see who is right. I think they did like Arvell Reese. There was too much noise around Arvell Reese early in the process that they might be trying to go up and get Arvell Reese. But I do now think pretty confidently that you are correct. Ruben Bain was a fan, Rob, pick a person entity more than Brett Veach in the scouting department felt about Ruben Bain. And maybe it's the short arms, maybe it's the production. I don't know what scared them off, but there was clearly something they were not interested in Ruben Bain. I think they had the top 5 targeted. I don't think he was anywhere near that top 5.
Yeah, I don't.
Keep your eye on Kansas City. I said they're going to move up to get a high-end player. And I thought it would be Bailey, the rush end. Instead, it was the corner from LSU, Lane. So my take in Kansas City is they had, when you're a really good team, like Philadelphia moved up and Kansas City, they don't have a lot of needs. They have specific needs. That's how you know you're a good team. You have specific needs. The Chiefs needed a running back, Kenneth Walker free agency, and a cornerback, got him last night, and a defensive tackle, Chris Jones, based on his career, worst year as a pro in the last 5 or 6. They got a defensive tackle. You want to make a handshake bet, J-Mac, for another stake? I got you on the Ty Simpson draft pick that the edge will be what the Kansas City Chiefs target in the second round. And I looked this morning, 7 of them that people like.
Cowherd ended up being right. We talked about it on Friday's show that it was really, to me, between edge or wide receiver. We got their answer. Rob, one thing that I think is interesting, now maybe this is something that only the hardcore draft heads are going to track. The Chiefs made a choice with Thomas. They made a choice. They could have got Cassius Howell if they wanted him. He was right there. He's from Kansas City. Would have made all the sense in the world. Kid went to Rockhurst, grew up a Chiefs fan, could have brought him home at a position of need. He would have been a starter. They decided to go in a different direction. Makes sense. They also had a chance to go get Zion, ended up going to the Baltimore Ravens. So Cassius Howell, who's from the city, ended up going to a team that you know you're going to see again because Cincinnati just always seems to pop up. They're like a bad rash. And then you got Zion Young, who went to Missouri and is going to another school or another team that you know at some point you're going to have to play and you're going to have to deal with. There was a little bit of a run there on pass rusher, so I understand why Kansas City felt the need to go get their pass rusher. It was probably their biggest need on the board. They go get one. Let's see if they get it right in comparison to those other couple of players that were there on the board.
Now, in theory, every draft pick needs to be right. I'm not saying that, but specifically for what you're saying, the Chiefs need to be right about the edge rusher they got over Howell and over Zion Young. Not that I think Zion Young or Howell or, Myles Garrett reincarnated, but when you talk about, quote, a Spags type of D-end, Zion Young and Cassius Howell are much more the body type than R. Mason Thomas is. R. Mason Thomas is not historically what the Chiefs target at edge rusher. They don't look for thin and speedy. They look for a little bulkier, set the edge, the whole deal. There's a body type they covet. So the fact that Chiefs broke the mold to say no to Zion Young, to say no to the local Cassius Howell, and say yes to R. Mason Thomas, they need to be right. Maybe it doesn't need to be Nick Bonito, but Nick Bonito's the extreme example of extremely fast edge rusher. It cannot be a guy who is getting FAU type of sack stats. It needs to be a guy who's going to be noticeable in that pass rush game. And I think Spags can unlock him. He's had great pass rushers in the past, but the Chiefs broke the mold to get him. I'm curious if he's going to break the mold with success or if they're going to look back and say, whoops, that wasn't really what we target, and that's why.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined in studio by our guy, Nate Taylor. He does fantastic work with ESPN. There's so many questions to get his thoughts on when it comes to the NFL draft in Kansas City. We'll do that next. If you got a question for Nate, we'll ask some questions as well. 913-586-7965. It's been a while since Nate's been on the show. There's a lot to talk about. We'll get to it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking those special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Maybe you want to look at series pricing, and instead of betting an individual game, you want to be able to go and bet overall how many games a particular playoff series is going to go, or who could end up with the most points during that series. You name it, you can check it all out on the FanDuel app and use some of their trends and research tools that are right there in the app. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for primetime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory. Our certified techs will even mount and balance them for only $30 per tire. All that plus a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Seth Lugo. Don't miss Vern's on Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Really excited to be joined by our next guest. It's been some time since we got a chance to sit down here with Nate Taylor. We'll pace this out a little bit. I'll ask some questions. You guys will ask some questions, and we'll go from there. Nate, man, happy to have you in studio with us for this 3 o'clock hour.
Thank you.
As we do watching the actual games. The mock draft season is about 4 months. Questions about the draft, who can they get? Like, we spend a lot of time kind of looking at this. This is how I led the show today. I'm not big on draft grades. That don't matter to me.
Correct.
It's to me about, did you execute your plan? And I think the Chiefs, now that we have seen their offseason largely play itself out, they had a plan.
Right.
Our plan is to completely start over with the run game and build it from the ground up. And we need to get younger and cheaper on defense. And we're going to pump a lot of resources into that. Look at how they handle free agency after they signed Kenneth Walker. They had 9 picks. They used up 7 picks on the defensive side of the football. They have gone through a radical defensive change in just 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, Aloy Gilman, Kairos Tonga to sort of round out your headliners in free agency with Kenneth Walker. They make the trade with Trent McDuffie to the Rams with the understanding that, like, hey, you're going to get 2 first-round picks. So it's similar in essence to the 2022 offseason following the Tyreek Hill trade. I was there, whatever it was, Thursday night, asking Brett about, like, hey, this is another similarity. Not just the trade now, but the fact that you went corner and defensive line in the first round with those 2 first-round picks. I didn't necessarily foresee them going from 9 to 6. But yeah, they're going to try to get more athletic, younger on defense. And I think in terms of the plan, if I would add to it, is they took an approach of, like, we want to swing for the actual fences now. I think in 22, they were like, hey, if we just hit some doubles, that's great, because of we need depth, we need to get youth, we need to get guys who are going to be able to contribute sooner rather than later. And really since then, from about 23 on, they've been thinking more like, hey, can we just get on base? Can we just hit doubles? Well, you go up to take Delane. I mean, that guy's got to be, again, Pro Bowl, all-pro player. Peter Woods is a pick based on the talent level and the fact that, like, he could potentially develop into someone that, you remember his name and you circle him on the game plan for the opposing team. And even with R. Mason, it's just like, that's never who they've gone after. And yet you're picking him because you're taking such a big swing, hoping that, man, he will become the pass rusher really of our dreams in a way that is even more of a bigger approach than, like, George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis, I want to remind people, was like a very safe pick given where they were late in the first round. And he has gotten better over his career, but you never thought he had, like, true star potential, right? He could be a very good number 2 in your pass rush plan. They drafted R. Mason with the idea that, like, he could be a game wrecker. And that's a pretty big swing to take when, as I just heard, obviously driving over here, the chance to take, I thought, a more, Spagsy type player in Zion Young. So in terms of their plan, they swung for it pretty quickly with Mansour Delane. Then they kept taking big swings from that moment on.
Would you have rather them stay and get Caleb Downs, which it sounds like that was part of their plan?
That was the guy.
Or do what they did to go up and get Mansour Delane? Because just going through Albert Breer's reporting, it sounds like those were 2 paths. The path is go get who we think is the best corner in the draft, or keep our 9th pick, and now we know that Caleb Downs would have been there at 9.
Correct. And I think I heard you too that, the Chiefs weren't necessarily as high based on all the pre-draft conversation around Reuben Bain Jr. and Jordan Tyson. And so they wouldn't have taken either one of those players, I don't believe, with the 9th pick. So by process of elimination, it does make more sense that, like, hey, could you have taken Caleb Downs, or could he have given you I won't say he would be in the same player as like Tyrann Mathieu, but could he have given you a similar play style, someone that you could develop over the course of, again, a 5-year rookie contract? Well, they decided that Mansour Delane's he's just better. He plays a more premium position. We just traded away our best corner, and our second best corner just joined him with the Los Angeles Rams in free agency when we knew we weren't going to give him a massive contract because we couldn't get the contract figured out with Trent McDuffie. So I think if they had stayed at 9, the belief would have been, could you have taken Caleb Downs, or would you have traded down to maybe feel a little bit more comfortable taking a Ruben Bain Jr., which we knew he went, 15, I believe, to Tampa Bay? Could they have traded down to like 12, 13 and made that decision a little bit more palatable in their room?
Did you hear Bain's name come up a lot when you were kind of asking around the draft?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why I mocked them at ESPN. We had our beat writer mock draft like a day or two before the draft, and I picked Ruben Bain at 9, and I didn't want to trade just to understand like how this was going to play out. And actually, I took Peter Woods at 29, so that's the one pick I got right, at least for the first round purposes. But I knew they liked Ruben Bain, but it's so funny. Like, he is also an outlier too. For all the things we want to say about R. Mason and the potential that he could present and the maximum he could give you in terms of juice off the edge, the same could be said for Ruben Bain in terms of the motor, the various pass rush moves. You know, I said the best, I think I was here with you, Carrington, I said the best case scenario for him is like Dwight Freeney. Well, they didn't want to stomach that with a top 10 pick. They were willing to stomach that with the 40th pick, is essentially what they're saying to you. And I think I will double check this. Is R. Mason younger than Ruben Bain? Let me double check this. Yeah, R. Mason Thomas is 21 years old. And Ruben Bain Jr. is, they're in the same range. So he's 21 as well. I know Brett Veach usually likes to go younger versus older. This draft was full of guys who were obviously older than 21. But again, they were willing to say that, like, hey, is Ruben Bain a finished product? Is R. Mason Thomas a player who can continue to ascend? And are we more willing to do that at 40 than we are willing to do that at 9 or 6? And the other part of this equation too is there's no cornerback at 40 that you would be willing to take like you did with R. Mason. So if this is the best corner, and as Brett Veach said on Thursday night, this is a top 5 prospect, well, you get him at 6. That technically is still a value pick, even though you traded away a 3rd round pick. But in essence, they told everybody Mansour Delane's worth a 3rd round pick. Like, you won't even, like, hopefully you won't even remember that we gave away a 3rd round pick to go get him, because he's gonna, cut the field in half, or has the potential to cut the field in half. And with Steve Spagnuolo's, complex scheme, if you have a top flight cornerback, which we've already seen, that allows him to do a variety of things on just the scheme itself on 3rd down.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Nate Taylor of ESPN. Maybe I'm the only one that is going to track this, but the last 3 picks of the first round and how they relate back to the Chiefs is a really compelling story to me. So the Chiefs select Peter Woods at 29. The 30th overall pick is Omar Cooper, who was a very good wide receiver in college, and a lot of people look at wide receiver as being a need for Kansas City. If Cooper turns out to be an 1,000-yard guy, a lot of people are going to say, I wish we had drafted Omar Cooper.
Right.
With the 31st overall pick, they could have got an edge rusher in Keldrick Falk, who went to Tennessee. With the 32nd overall pick, now the Chiefs were not going to take a running back in the first round, but who took a running back in the first round? Seattle, who let Kenneth Walker leave in free agency, so then they could go take a running back on a rookie contract. Like, all 3 of those selections to me fall back on Kansas City as a either direct reflection on their offseason plan, like letting Walker go and then Seattle drafts his replacement, or you could have went wide receiver, you could have went pass rusher there, and they decided to go with another tackle with Peter Woods.
Because they are right next to each other, I think it's a Falk-Woods conversation. Again, I don't think Cooper was going to necessarily be in their evaluation in terms of like, hey, here's who we want to identify with the 29th pick. I really do think it's kind of a toss-up of like, hey, Peter Woods has a chance to really develop into a star But man, we really need a starting edge rusher, and maybe Falk is a better fit to do that day one.
Who are you
versus
hearing?
R. Mason Thomas?
Who are you hearing from people who Peter Woods could potentially be? Like, is there a player comparison that is being thrown around?
Let's never look.
I love a good player comparison.
I know, and I know Andy Reid on Thursday night was like, "Well, he's not Aaron Donald." And I'm like, "Let's stop,
okay,
guys."
He ain't that.
He's not that.
He ain't that.
You would love it if he's like a shade down from Chris Jones. So again, I don't think he's going to be Cam Hayward. But, like, if you got Cam Hayward production, that would be great, right? I think Cam Hayward's a little bit bigger. He has a different sort of, trait. I know there was one player that I heard from someone in the front office, and now because there's been a litany of names in my head, I'm trying to rack through it. But, like, I know Peter Wood said that he models some of his game off of Jeffrey Simmons, and that's literally who's kind of been the 1B to the 1A when it comes to Chris Jones once Aaron Donald retired. I want to remind people, Cam Hayward is incredible at football, and he's got insane durability. He's been playing for 15 years. He's been an All-Pro numerous times. He has an outside chance of making the Hall of Fame. He's 36. But, like, if you could get Chris Jones' production, which is double-digit sacks by year 3, it's an amazing pick because that's literally what happened with Chris Jones in 2018. The Chiefs will tell you Peter Woods he has a better athletic type than maybe Kendrick Falk. But Falk is exactly what Steve Spagnuolo wants, 6'5", 276. He going to set the edge. He's going to use strength to power. I know somebody on the text line said Dontari Poe. I don't think Peter Woods, you don't want Peter Woods to be Dontari Poe. I think you would want him.
Also, if he had those levels of physical traits, he wouldn't have been picked in 29.
He would have been picked top 10.
Like, Poe was just a physical freak, and that's why he ended up going so high.
I mean, like, so this is gonna hurt because it's like a deep cut that I heard. It was a good player, but I can't think of the player right now. But, like, yeah, I think Peter Woods is gonna play now. And then depending on how things go, like, he could get significant snaps in 2027, and then maybe he can blossom into, true first-round talent by 2028, which, of course, is when we all assume, or history suggests, I should say, that Chris Jones at age 32, 33, 34 is not going to be as productive. If you're wondering, kids, Cam Hayward played all 17 games last year, had 3.5 sacks. That was year 15. So, it happens. He went from like a 10.5 sack guy to an 8 sack guy to last year he was 3.5, even though he played, very similar, snaps in terms of like percentages over the last 5 years.
Do you think wide receiver was a consideration at 40?
No, I really don't. They knew, and I think that's why they stayed at 40. And that's why they stayed at 29. One of the reasons why you take Peter Woods at 29 is there's not going to be another Peter Woods type at 40. So, okay, we're comfortable letting Falk still be on the board because we know Zion Young and or R. Mason Thomas is going to be available to us. Okay, now we have the choice to do that. We take R. Mason Thomas. I think this team is going to try to moneyball the receiver position, which is why they took Cyrus Allen later in the draft, and who's the Megatron Megatron 2.0 that they got in the undrafted,
the guy that was climbing the stadium.
Yeah. The undrafted bid.
You can't count on any production from that 5th round pick. Now, I'm not saying the kid can't turn out to be well,
correct.
but just
they're both teammates now from Cincinnati.
Just watching as much Chiefs football as I've watched, I find it hard to believe that they're going to get a major contribution from their 5th round pick out of Cincinnati, just given all the other mouths that they had to feed. Maybe he develops into that,
right?
But for 2026, I'm not counting on them getting anything from him outside of special teams.
So if you get anything out of it, hey, we found change. It was really nice. And, we'll do that with the 5th round pick. We'll do that, with an undrafted player. We'll see where it goes. But honestly, the Chiefs wide receiver plan was told to you when they re-signed Tyquan Thornton and didn't re-sign Hollywood Brown. So now it's, hey, let's give Rashee Rice a full season, Lord willing. let's really develop Xavier Worthy, hoping that he'll have a more productive season because he'll be healthier next season. And Tyquan Thornton wants to be a more complete receiver. Okay, we're going to give you the snaps to actually demonstrate that over the course of the 2026 season.
I think he could do it if they just didn't give him 50-50 balls. That's all they really seemed comfortable doing last year, was just throwing it up to him and hoping he caught a 40-yard, 50-yard pass downfield. Right. They didn't really give him too many other opportunities. Let's talk about the wide receiver room. I made this point right before you came on. If you could show me just one player's stats from next year, I would pick Rashee Rice. And if Rice figures it out, this team is going to be back to close to where they should be. Like, if you're telling me this year Rashee Rice has 80 catches for 1,200 yards, contract years undefeated, and he turns into a legitimate number one, and you couple that with other guys finding their role and Kenneth Walker being good, this offense is going to be one of the 10 best in the league, and they should be a very good team. If you tell me it's been more of the same with Rashee Rice, injury issues, hands issues, off the field issues, inability to put it together, I'm going to guess that their offense struggles once again because they need that kind of outside number one separator, and they just haven't really had that consistently over the last 2 seasons.
I think the top of the range in terms of production for Rashee Rice, again, Lord willing, if he gets 17 games, is about 1,100 yards. If he gets 1,100 yards, that would be a top 10 receiver in terms of production based on last year. So you're entering a pool that includes obviously Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, George Pickens, Amon St. Brown, Zay Flowers had 1,200 yards, which is wild to think about. You're in that Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson era. So I think that's the top of his range. I would be okay if he even had 800 yards because you actually would say that demonstrates a more diversified look of, hey, we don't have to rely on Travis Kelce all the time. He is a nice luxury to have, even at, 36 years old. But that means, hey, we found better ways to get Xavier Worthy open in the intermediate area of the field and downfield. And also, that means that, like, Tyquan Thornton also took a jump in terms of being like a 600-yard receiver, right? Instead of like 300, 400 yards based on just the limited amount of snaps he had in the second half of the season. Some of that might be due to, hey, if Kenneth Walker really does, jump the way the Chiefs think he can with this offensive line, hey, maybe there aren't as many yards to gain because the running back position is actually going to have an uptick in terms of like, hey, could Kenneth Walker be the first 1,000-yard rusher since, Kareem Hunt 2017 as a rookie? Definitely possible. But if that happens, then, hey, maybe your receivers aren't in that, 1,200, 1,100 range. I just want to see a more diversified offense overall and players playing well within their roles as the season develops. That's what made the 2022 season so special, is that, like, yeah, you knew Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster were, like, at the top of the category in terms of pass catchers, but even Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a role. Noah Gray had a role at times. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon was a great, pass catching back out of the backfield. You had options galore for Patrick Mahomes, which is why he became the MVP, because there was not a guy that you could necessarily dictate the coverages to. So if that happens, that would be great, because as all those guys play well together, the better chance they have of succeeding as the season goes along.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Nate Taylor. We'll talk about some free agency possibilities here coming up in a bit. Let's talk about the defense. What do you make of them really going all in on defense? They had 9 draft picks. Yeah. They used 7 if you count the trade, because you have to use those assets to go get Mansour Delane. What did that tell you about their thought process as they loaded up on defensive prospects?
I saw your tweet saying that, hey, this is a reflection of, hey, maybe we didn't have the horses last year on defense. And from an offensive standpoint, it was such a cluster, that, like, maybe we just got to clean it up from a coaching standpoint. Totally makes sense. I would also say, too, that, like, because you lost so many guys in free agency because of the success of the 2022 draft class, you were kind of forced to go in this direction anyway, right? Like Leo Chenal's not around anymore. Jalen Watson, obviously Trent McDuffie. You lost Charles Omenihu. There are so many players from that. Brian Cook, I should not forget him. Brian Cook had a career year, and that's why he's in Cincinnati. So for all those reasons, it's like, yeah, Chris Jones is going to be 32. We need to add more positive depth around the defensive line. We're not just adding numbers just to add them, but these guys actually have to be more physical and just be an overall better group than we saw last year when you had guys like Mike Pennell, Derek Nottie, Jerry Tillery. Like, those guys are all past the prime of their careers. So hopefully Omar Norman Locke comes back from the ACL and he's healthy. But I felt like this was a strategy that made sense to me because you're counting on the fact that you still have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Your biggest offseason signing was Kenneth Walker. You still got to see and develop or see what you have really with, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. So, yes, it would be nice to add a piece or two to the offense, but I just named you 5 guys that we know are going to play significant snaps and be counted on if they're all healthy and on the field. I cannot say the same 5 guys on defense. Like, we're saying Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, and who am I missing? Like, that's where I feel like when you just look at the 2 deep depth chart, right? Starters and the first subs, I mean, they have to add more guys to that side of the ball, and it makes a lot of sense to say the youth movement, at least as of right now, is more immediate on defense, whereas next offseason, the youth movement could be more immediate on offense.
Do you think they're weaker at linebacker or pass rush right now? Because those, to me, appear to be the 2 weaknesses on the team.
If you could tell me what Jeffrey Bossa turns into, I would lean defensive line because it's still a huge question mark to me. I know Cam Jordan's still out there.
I was going to talk about him in the next segment because I'm very curious.
But he's not on the roster as of yet. Not on the roster yet.
He seems like such a no-brainer to at least inquire to see if he is interested in coming to play.
I think he's interested. I think there's mutual interest. But hey, man, Mansour Delane's gonna have to start day 1. Peter Woods gonna have to be in the rotation day 1. So is R. Mason Thomas. Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen with I feel like I'm gonna get his name wrong. Jaden, is it Kennedy?
Kennedy, yeah.
Kennedy. Mm-hmm. Hey, you'll be in the mix, Kennedy. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do with Jaden Hicks and the Chamari Connor of it all. We also know Alohi Gilman's gonna play because he got legitimate starter money. So we may not have to count on the 4th round pick as much as like the first 3 guys taken in the draft. I mean, guys, I'm just saying, go to ESPN.com, go to Kansas City Chiefs, look at this 2-man depth chart. I mean, as of right now, it's crazy, but as of right now, we still have Felix and DK Usama as your starting defensive end opposite of George Karlaftis because it's Ashton Gelati and R. Mason Thomas. Now, I guess training camp will decide that, but you need a veteran there. You need a veteran there badly. Is Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, and Jeffrey Bossa? Maybe. I mean, yeah. I can at least count on Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill. It's Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and some young guys. Exciting. But like, I would call Cam Jordan yesterday.
All right, I have 2 toss-ups to ask you in the next segment.
Mm-hmm.
One toss-up is going to be, who's more likely to be on the team at training camp? Is it Cam Thomas or is it Tyreek Hill? The other toss-up question, I'll tease it for you later. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
For all the things you have to do and places you need to be, let Uber take you there. Because you had just one more 3 rounds ago. Because the 5 a.m. flight seemed like a good idea at the time. Because check engine lights always appear at the worst possible times. And because parking downtown is a nightmare. Because there are nights out, airport trips, and car troubles in your area, there are drivers in your area. Uber. Request a ride today. Wait time varies. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal. A delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal. A satisfying meal full of big flavor for great value. DQ. Happy tastes good.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah. And now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You're You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Roads are slick and there is water over the roadway in several locations. Do not drive into standing water. It's slow I-70 through downtown on the Missouri side and the I-435 loop on the Kansas side. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I got 2 toss-up questions for you, Nate Taylor. Coming up in the next segment, we'll do kind of rapid-fire questions. So if you want to start asking your questions for Nate, 913-586-7965. We'll go through as many of them as we can in the final segment of the hour. The first toss-up question is this. Who is more likely to be on the team in August? Is it Cam Jordan or Tyreek Hill?
I'm gonna say Cam. I feel like Tyreek Hill's more in like the now, unless they took like a long look and they were just like, hey, we're gonna do this. Let's just do it right now. And then you'll work with our staff over the course of August, September, October. You get on the field on like week 6 or 7, I guess I can see that. If you want to make the long-term play for the full season. But I think logically it would have to be Cam. Just again, they have a role for him to play immediately. Hey, you want to come and start for a little bit, not put all the pressure on Felix or R. Mason Thomas or Ashton Gelati, which those guys should all be really hungry to be rotational guys and make an impact on certain third downs. Cool. I think Tyreek Hill, just because of the medical situation and the rehab, it would probably make more sense to sign him in like October.
You've mentioned a mutual interest between the Chiefs and Cam Jordan.
Yeah.
Is there a mutual interest between the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill?
Why you do this to me?
I'm just asking.
Sure.
I want to know.
I mean, sure. I mean, they can't deny it. It's just they have to take their time with it. You don't want to rush this. They got to get, obviously clearance in terms of the recovery and the rehab and, what the workouts look like. I mean, you can call him anytime you want. You can say, hey, how would you like to be back in the locker room with Patrick and Travis and Chris? And like, I'm just saying. So, yeah, I don't think you don't have to do anything right now, but they definitely probably want to get an update on how he's doing when, the season kicks off on whatever it is, September 13th, 14th.
The next toss-up question I have for you is, do you think they've shown more confidence this season in Jalen Moore or Rashee Rice?
That's a great question. I think my knee-jerk is to say Jalen Moore because, man, they put so much smoke up our you-know-whats about offensive tackle in the first round and, shout out to my guy Todd McShay who carried the water up. Andy's hell-bent on fixing this offensive line like it needed fixing.
Hellbent was crazy for them Hellbent was crazy for them not to draft an entire offensive line when they had 9 selections. They were hellbent on fixing it, he was told.
So when I think about it, I'm
fell
like,
for that hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. They even had me a little spooked because I was like, yo, ain't nobody really talking to me about tackles. But like, hey, if this is the game y'all want to play, go ahead and play it. Jalen Moore's making real starter money in terms of the NFL as a guy who can maybe, demonstrate that he's, reached a point to be a full-time starter, whether it's with Kansas City next season or obviously somewhere else in free agency. So I would say Jalen Moore. The Chiefs have just somehow benefited into the NFL being like, look, guys, there's no way we can prove this. Let's just keep it moving. Sure, he can play. So they sort of, as a result, as a byproduct, benefit from that. But because, they still took, to your point, Carrington, they took a receiver in the draft. They did not take a single offensive lineman when they entered the draft with 9 picks. Hilarious.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Nate Taylor. We're going to go rapid fire questions here coming up in a bit. So if you got some questions, now it's time to start getting them in. Let me remind you that our draft coverage on the show is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and also the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Do you think there will be a competition at right tackle?
No.
You think Isapole has no shot at right tackle?
Isapole.
They liked him at the end of the year.
They did, but they should look at him as a really good swing tackle who, can continue to develop over the course of his career. Look, I would put Pole ahead of Wanye Morris on the depth chart, as of right now, in terms of like, hey, who do I want to put resources and time into an investment? And hey, if there is an injury, who's the first guy coming off the bench? Then yeah, I would say Isapole. But no, they've paid Jalen Moore legitimate starter money in the NFL. He has to start, and you gave him a runway of a year because he split reps in training camp with Jawan Taylor all of training camp, like at right tackle. So the system, he's a year in the system. We know he's talented. We know he's more than capable as a spot starter with the whole Josh Simmons absence. So no, it's his time to demonstrate that he can be a starting right tackle in this league.
Were you surprised they drafted another running back when they got Emmett Johnson?
No, because then I looked at the production and I went back and looked at the tape and I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, like how many touchdowns did he score?
I think you could argue that he was the third best running back in his class.
It was one of those ones where, every now and then, and we got to the point where it was the 5th round of the draft where it's like, all right, show me the cut-ups. And like they'd show some tight end and you'd be like, oh boy, this is a hell of a project for that team. Or, okay, here's a guard. Like, all right, let's see the cut-ups. Let me see the mixtape. And like, it's all right. I guess he's got NFL size and athleticism. Cool. All right, let's see the wide receiver. I mean, he can do that route well. Can he do other routes well? They went to Thomas's highlights, and I was like, okay, catches the ball. Okay, toughness. Okay, can get through the hole. Hey, look at that little run. Okay, can see the hole, get through it. And then I look at all the stats, the production, the durability. He only got better throughout his entire college career. Came back last season, dominated. It's a good pick. Like it's the pick on Saturday that makes the most sense because Imar Demarcada is only on the team for 1 year. So hey, I have no idea what this says for Brashard Smith. I'd be a little bit worried if I was in the Brashard Smith camp.
I know what it says.
Okay.
He's out of here. He's out of here. What am I talking about? He's out of here. He's out of here.
Hey, Brashard Smith, can we interest you in the gadget portion of the playbook? As a former receiver in college who transitioned to running back.
His best chance is to compete for kick and punt return. That's his best chance.
Sure.
But hey, just look at it. I mean, they went through and they completely torched that room. Now, if they hadn't gotten the 5th round pick, if they hadn't got Emmett Johnson, you could kind of sell me a little bit.
Yeah.
But they have taken a legitimate, we all watch the National Football League.
Yeah.
There are running backs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round that pan out every single draft
time.
class.
Yeah.
Maybe you got Bucky Irving here. Maybe you got a guy who's a 4th and a 5th round pick who 2 years from now you are very pleasantly surprised by how good he is. So I'm happy that they took that swing.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the proper transition into the 2.0. You and I have had this conversation so many times over the last 3 years. Sometimes their offensive plan is, Pat, go be special.
Correct.
Pat, run around, go make a play, go figure it out. Now they are trusting their ability to turn around and hand the football off and run the football effectively. Nobody thinks you're playing Marty Schottenheimer ball, but you should be able to run the ball 20 times in the National Football League with success, and there also be a threat for when you do your RPOs, when you do your play action stuff, the other team has to honor it because you're legitimately dangerous at doing it.
Yes, and I do love this question from the text line. Do you think they move Brashard Smith to receiver? Young man, can I interest you into the gadget and the receiver portion of our playbook? If they transition him to receiver, yikes.
He will get less than 10 carries this season.
Well, I was going to make this point too. Carrington, they wouldn't hand the ball off to him after Patrick had his surgery.
When they had preseason games.
Yes.
That's all I needed to know. That's why, at least when it comes, and we can talk about this, we're up against it here, about Jalen Royals. Like, Jalen Royals couldn't get on the field when they had absolutely nothing to lose at the end of the season. That tells me everything I need to know about how they feel about it.
At least for Jalen Royals, it's like, hey, he had a little bit of a knee issue. Let's give him a redshirt year. Let's get him under the system. Again, similar to Jalen Moore, nothing should be super wide-eyed new for you. And, hey, maybe in the preseason you demonstrate that you are fully healthy in a way that you kind of really couldn't last year. Because there are moments in training camp where I was like, oh, okay, I see the talent, the skill set, but, like, hey, how that knee doing? So, like, if we give you a full year to strengthen that knee up, you do what you're supposed to do as a professional, I could at least say that's a legitimate redshirt year. I cannot say the same for Brashard Smith because they wouldn't hand him the ball when we clearly saw that he had some talent. They just weren't willing to develop it at all in late November and December.
Coming up on the other side, we'll go rapid fire questions. If you got a question for Nate Taylor, get it on the text line. We'll go through it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. Before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Trading the jacket for flip-flops? Start your sun-soaked getaway stress-free with Park & Go. All covered parking keeps your car cool and protected while you're catching rays. Quick shuttle straight to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer approved.
It's Chris Mack with a Sports Betting Minute brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Saturday was ugly for the Pistons, as the Magic won to go up 2-1 in a series that shouldn't have necessarily been a walkover, but never should have created such strife for the 1 seed. Paolo Banchero and Desmond Bane have come to life for Orlando in the postseason, but they're still following that familiar zigzag pattern that we talk about in the NBA playoffs. So I'm counting on Detroit to lock down on defense as they did in Game 2, and even up this series at 2 games apiece. The Pistons laying just 2.5 points at BetMGM for tonight's critical Game 4. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
Leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
A stretch along westbound East Truman Road is highly congested and slow from South Frank Road to South Ash Avenue. Northbound 435 is really tied up at East Truman. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, coming up on the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about the defensive line. We'll go through some of the sack numbers on the defensive line, and it will just further the point of why I think they need to go get Cam Jordan. But I have asked just about all the questions that I have for Nate Taylor. It is now time for you guys to ask some questions. Rob, hit some music. Nate, do you think there is a chance that the Chiefs would go get Joey Bosa?
Ooh, that's hard to see unless the numbers way down. And I don't think the Bosa brothers really operate like that. So I don't see it as of right now. But again, things could change because we still got a long way between now and training camp.
Who's the rookie from last year that you think the Chiefs are most confident in heading into this year? So heading into their second season, so out of that Gelati, Omar Norman-Lott, Jalen Royals, out of that crew, who do the Chiefs feel the most confident in heading into 2026?
If we're talking just pure talent, it's got to be Josh Simmons. If you're talking traditional development from year 1 to year 2, I think it's Ashton Gelati. I would like to say Omar Norman-Lott, but we're going to have to see how he can perform coming off the ACL.
Yeah, a lot of people I saw were kind of making the argument that you didn't need to go get Peter Woods because you addressed this. You know, there's some positions I'm never going to say that you can overdraft. Like, you can never have too many corners on your team.
Correct.
You can never have too many quality defensive linemen. I looked this stat up because I was genuinely curious. There are only 2 defensive linemen on Seattle's team last year that played more than 50% of the snaps.
That's crazy.
Those guys.
That's how good they were.
I know. And just think about how dominant they were.
Right.
Those guys just rotate out more than I think the average fan
for sure
is paying attention to. That it's not the same guys playing 90, 95% of the snaps. You're constantly. So, like, I think sometimes we get caught up on starter versus depth pieces.
Yeah.
When it comes to the defensive line, outside of your 1 or 2 stars, everybody's kind of rotating in or out.
And to that point, the reason why you would take Peter Woods alongside, you know, Kyrus Tonga and hopefully a rebound from Omar Norman-Lott is so that Chris Jones doesn't have to be on the field the entire game, kids. 2 years ago, he was on the field 83% of the snaps. That's insane for a defensive tackle. Last year, he was on the field for 73%. An argument could be made that in year, 11, at age 32, Chris Jones's production could actually increase if he was on the field less. because of your point about actually having a rotation and making sure Chris Jones stays fresh so that he can be dominant when he is on the field on third down.
Text line 913-586-7965. If you got a question, we'll go rapid fire with Nate Taylor. Nate, what are your thoughts on Jeff Caldwell? That was the big physical receiver out of Cincinnati that you were trying to think of earlier. Jeff Caldwell. It's funny because we laugh, but I mean, every year there's one or two undrafted guys that just always end up making. I don't care what team you are. There's always one or two undrafted guys that end up making the team.
Can't wait to see him in person. I'm talking about this upcoming practices for rookie mini camp, and obviously just seeing what he looks like in OTAs. Honestly, Coach, why am I coming out to the facility later if I can't see Caldwell versus Delane? I mean, come on, let's do it, right? I'm intrigued by him. I'm fascinated. Sure, let's do it. They said he's a. Did you see his athletic chart? It's 10. It's a 10, Carrington. A 10.
This is like when NBA teams just get a guy that can just jump out the gym.
Jump
out the gym. Like, hey, we can show you how to shoot and dribble. But that athleticism, we at least got to take a chance.
Hey, can we teach you some slants and some dig routes? Come on now. I mean, coach him up, Chad O'Shea.
Someone wants to know who is in the mix for kick and punt returners.
On the team as of right now,
I mean, who's in the mix?
I mean, Nico Remigio's your standard guy right now.
He's out of here.
They re-signed him.
He's out of here.
Brashard Smith, as we talked about earlier. Man, I would really like to see Mansour Delane do it because he's an athletic freak himself. I don't know if there's anybody on defense that really translates right now. Maybe Kyer Elam. Maybe. Yeah, Emmett Johnson might be your. I mean, he's really good, guys. He might be your go-getter when you want to pare it down to who has the best potential to be a good kick and punt returner. It might be Emmett Johnson, even though I don't necessarily think we asked that on draft day or whatever it was on Saturday.
Do you think Mahomes plays week 1? I'm coming around. I think he does.
If the man's going to try to participate in OTAs, which you're darn certain he is, then. Yeah, I think the league's going to do the Chiefs a favor. Put them on Monday Night Football. There's a way for them to make the schedule work where they are home on Monday night against whoever they want to play against.
The Raiders. I'm just saying you can already see this.
You can see it. Yeah,
I was talking to somebody about this earlier. It does not benefit the NFL to bury the Chiefs in the first 3 weeks, but still put them on television. So week 1 at Arrowhead, Chiefs and Raiders, you get the number 1 overall pick going to Kansas City.
Yep.
So even if Mahomes isn't playing, it's still Arrowhead at night. That's a game that Kansas City can still win with Justin Fields. It just that feels to me like Chiefs Raiders week 1. Go and lock it in.
I will say yes. I think he'll be in uniform, and I think the game will be on my network, ESPN Monday Night Football.
Nate, what is the confidence level? What's the vibe you have right now in the tight end room outside of Travis Kelce?
Oh, can we get a bounce back year from Noah Gray? Because that's really
He's
what
still around.
That's
he
really
was
what
so
it comes,
MIA last year.
That's really what it comes down to. And then we have a duel to the depth of the end of the depth chart, I guess, between Jarrett Wiley and Jake Brinstool. Now, Jake Brinstool was a big swoon win last year in the UDFA sweepstakes, so they gave him a legitimate redshirt year.
I'll throw a topic out there that you haven't thought about yet.
Keep Travis healthy.
I'll throw a topic out there.
Sure.
Do you think they bring in a kicker to challenge Harrison Butker during training camp?
I wouldn't.
It would be very interesting.
It would be awesome, though.
If they had 2 kickers out there and Harrison had to kind of look over, knowing how important this season is, just a lot of fire under him to get him back on track.
He missed 8 kicks, Carrington, between, and these were all critical points, extra points and field goals at times. Like, hey, bro, we can't be having 8 misses next season when we lost all those 1-score games. And I think people forget that he was part of those. That he was part of the equation as to why they went 1-9 in 1-score games. Yeah, man, we need a bounce back season from you too, Harrison Butker. He's not the highest paid kicker anymore, but he's still making legitimate money. So the money says no, but I'm not opposed to a little fire in the rear end. I don't mind it.
I'll get you out of here with this last question really quick. Give me a team outside of Kansas City that you think is a little bit of a sleeper. I placed a wager this weekend. I got the Giants to make the postseason at plus 280.
my network would be thrilled with my answer, but I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's gotta happen, right? It's gotta happen. And I think their defense won't be abhorrent.
It's hard to be bad. It's hard to be worse than they were last year defensively.
Correct. And Dak continues to just play well. So I'm gonna say Dallas. I'm gonna say the Dallas Cowboys are actually a team worth discussing in our Lord's 2026 fall season.
That is our guy, Nate Taylor, joining us. You know what? I was going to make a joke about somebody that used to be in your profession, but you know what? I decided, let's just move on. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to talk about the Chiefs' defensive line. Go get Cam Jordan. I'll tell you why. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers! It's what you are!
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
23rd Street, Missouri 78, near Television Place off I-435 in the Blue Summit area is flooded and impassable. Westbound I-70 near Broadway, Prospect, and the Loop, including the Benton Curve. Lanes are closed for high water. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
This is one of my favorite times of the sports calendar, and FanDuel is celebrating it right. FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day of the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons.
Yep.
Decorations.
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers.
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy 2 get 1 free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best parties start at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-965-6698, 800-965-6698, or biglou.com.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at hellsberg.com.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the seventh inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate or BPH could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
If you're looking for more NFL draft coverage, go subscribe and follow the Character Concerns podcast with Bink and Chris on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, so let's talk about this Chiefs defensive line, because I'm happy with the draft. I don't want you guys to think that I'm not happy with the draft. But if I had to point to right now what I think the two biggest weaknesses with the Chiefs are, however you say it. I think it's pass rush and I think it's linebacker. Now, you can live with your team being deficient in some areas. It's the National Football League. It's a salary cap league. You're not going to be stockpiled. So if you were telling me pick a position group on the field that you're okay with not being stacked in, linebacker is one of them, especially when you have invested in Nick Bolton. Drew Tranquil is a very productive linebacker, and you drafted a guy in Jeffrey Bassa, and we'll just see if he can develop. But I think we would agree when it comes to pass rush, all right, they leave a little bit to be desired. So, Rob, let's talk about the pass rush, because I think you and we have been on different pages, I would say, for most of the offseason. I think we're on the same page here. Chris Jones obviously has the most sacks of any member on the Kansas City Chiefs. George Karlaftis is second on the team. Let's go from there. Drew Tranquil is third, Rob, on the team with 15. Nick Bolton is fourth on the Chiefs career-wise in sacks with 6. It starts to get real spooky after that.
Well,
Shamari Connor, 3.
spooky.
Jaden Hicks, a half sack. Noah Williams, 1. Kyrus Tonga, they just got him, a half sack. Ashton Gelati, 1.5 sacks. Felix Anyudike Uzama, 3 sacks. Omar Norman Lott, 1 sack. Obviously, the rookies, those guys have not contributed yet, so you haven't gotten anything. You don't have any proven pass rush once you get past Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. You need more than just 2 individuals, especially when one guy in Chris Jones, I think he has maybe 3 seasons left in the National Football League. We know how this thing goes. Father Time, when you get to his age, his size, how many snaps that he's played, Chris Jones ain't playing 6 or 7 more years in the league. He's got 3 left at the absolute most. George Karlaftis, you expected him to take that step forward. Let's see if he does. You are counting on, outside of those 2, a lot of guys who just either haven't done it or are new to the National Football League and just haven't had a chance to do it. This is why I'm so steadfast on go get Cam Jordan. Go get a Joey Bosa type. Go get one individual on the other side. You're not expecting Cam Jordan to be who he was 10 years ago. You're not expecting Joey Bosa to be who he was when he was a top 10 pick coming out of college. You were expecting these guys to come in. Can you get 7.5 sacks this year? Can you get 8 sacks this year? Can you get 5.5 sacks and be a disruptor, be healthy, be on the field, and also help mentor and help tutelage some of the young guys and get them ready for when it's their turn to step up? That's all you're asking from Cam Jordan. That's all you're asking from a Bosa type. The Chiefs, in my opinion, they need one of those individuals. I would love to go into the season just having a little proven track record of another guy that can help on the other side. Who's their Charles Omenihu this year? Who's their Wharton on the other side? So Sean Wharton, a guy who has a little bit of a track record of getting to the other team's quarterback, that can be disruptive, that can create some pressure, that can do that. Please go get Cam Jordan. You guys will be annoyed with me over the course of the next couple of months as I will continue to bang the drum. They have listened to me so far. Look at what they did at running back. Look at how they handled this offseason. I am pleased so far. They still need one or two more things. You don't have to trade anybody for Cam Jordan. You don't have to make a whole lot of crazy room when it comes to the salary cap. That is a move to me that makes a whole lot of sense. I want to play a couple of pieces of audio for you guys. Mitch Holtus is going to join us coming up in about 25 minutes. We'll get his thoughts on this year's draft class. Let's start with Peter Schrager. Here he is talking about the statement that the Chiefs made at the draft.
And now that I've taken it all in, I think the team that made the biggest statement over the course of the 3 days of the NFL draft were the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a lot of intrigue as to what the Chiefs were going to do heading into this draft, and they made a statement early on. This is going to be defense, 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 and they attacked it with a fervor. First, you get Mansour Delane, who Daniel Jeremiah had as the #1 cornerback prospect on his list. You can find that over as his top 100 on NFL.com/IQ on the Draft Central homepage. Well, after getting Delane, they take Peter Woods, the big defensive tackle, with their second first-round pick. They start night 2, and I was curious to see what they would do. And they got another defensive player, speed rusher R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. This one was fascinating, as R. Mason, whose first name is, yes, R, is not built like most traditional defensive ends. He's only 240 pounds, and I needed a comp. So I went on NFL.com/IQ. I went on their AI assistant. I just typed in, who is a good NFL comparison to R. Mason Thomas? And ironically, the name that comes up is former Chiefs speed rusher and undersized guy himself, D. Ford.
I don't know if that gives you a whole lot of confidence, but that is where we are. You know who I think the comparison, and obviously this would be the absolute high end of who you're talking about. Rob, I think they're looking at R. Mason Thomas like he could possibly be Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito is a little bit undersized, 6'3", 240 pounds. To me, that's maybe the comparison or somebody that you are striving to be. I do give the Chiefs credit. This is a little bit different than what they usually do. They normally don't go for these kind of types, but if you're looking at the body type, I mean, Nick Bonito is 6'3", 240. R. Mason Thomas is 6'2", 245. So pretty similar in body type. I think that's the kind of defensive lineman that they're looking at. Now, again, that's the high end. I thought Nick Bonito was one of the best pass rushers in the league last year. But to me, I think that's kind of the vein that I think they were going for when they selected him.
That's definitely their hope. And like we talked about with Nate Taylor, they're breaking the mold. I will say, and in a weird twist of fate, I will defend the Chiefs a little bit when you had those defensive line numbers, which, woof, they're bleak. But if I pulled up last year's Super Bowl champion, the Seattle Seahawks, going into the season, it wasn't like they had a team chock full of known commodities at pass rusher. They had Leonard Williams, who was a known commodity. They traded for sure. And then they have names that probably before last year, the average NFL fan didn't think about. No one last year at any point thought 23-year-old Byron Murphy is going to be a real problem for Seattle. Hey, 28-year-old Nwosu for the Seahawks. Watch out. He's going to have a huge season this year. DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, that was a guy that's a veteran type. You're looking for a Cam Jordan. They brought him in, but remember, he had a lot of off-the-field issues. Mm-hmm. And then Drake Thomas is a 25-year-old linebacker. There was a blitzing type. He had 3.5 sacks in last season. So I think the Chiefs' game plan is young, explosive, and athletic, and we surround Chris Jones, our known commodity, with those young players, and we hope they all have good seasons because the career numbers are bleak, but they're also, outside of Jones and Karlaftis, mostly guys who are still on a first contract with the team, at least in the D line.
Yeah, for sure. And I understand the comparison to Seattle, but if you're just looking at them from top to bottom, they had a lot more experience, I would say, on their defensive line than what Kansas City is going to say. They were a lot more proven at corner than where Kansas City is. Like, just basically at really every level of their defense. They were just far ahead of where I think Kansas City is. Now, this is building towards it. You look at what Seattle was able to put together. You look at what Kansas City is trying to be able to put together. I think it's important to note, at least when discussing with the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think it's fair to look at this as just a one-year sort of overhaul when it comes to their defense. This is really a 2-year plan. Like, look at their draft over the last 2 years. Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gelati, Noah Williams, Jeffrey Bassa. So you got, those are 4 guys right there that you were counting on being significant contributors to this year. Norman-Lott and Gelati on the defensive line. Noah Williams, who is your cornerback number 2 heading into this season. Bassa, who's going to be a starting linebacker for you this year. Now fast forward to this year when you got Delane, Woods, R. Mason Thomas, and all the other options. We're talking about 8, whenever they take the field for their first snap in a game that matters, we're talking about there's going to be 7 guys out there that are in their first or second year contracts with Kansas City. We're talking about this being a pretty young team. I thought that last year, one of the issues were you had a guy like Charles Omenihu. You had a guy like Jerry Tillery. You were bringing back Mike Dana. I thought their team was a little bit old in some ways and got exploited defensively. This is a team that is really a breath of fresh air. There's a lot of youth on this team. There's a lot of athleticism on this team. As I said in the open earlier today, I think it's going to take them a couple of weeks to kind of find their footing. But this is the defense that if they are true to Spags form, late October, early November, I think you're looking at this team with a real chance of kind of hitting their stride and getting going on the defensive side. Coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll continue to break down the Chiefs draft. Keep it right here. It's The Drive. This is one of my favorite times of the sports. FanDuel is celebrating it right. FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day of the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory. Our certified techs will even mount and balance them for only $30 per tire. All that plus a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons,
Yep.
decorations,
Yes.
streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy two, get one free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best parties start at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Ah. Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi, it's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
23rd Street, Missouri 78, near Television Place off I-435 in the Blue Summit area is flooded and impassable. Westbound I-70 near Broadway, Prospect, and the Loop, including the Benton Curve, lanes are closed for high water. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, welcome back into the show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked to Mitch a lot about the first-round draft picks. We'll kind of broaden the conversation a little bit and talk about their draft as a whole. Mitch, very, very high on Mansour Delane, thinks he has a pretty high ceiling.
To be in the same conversation with Pat Surtain and Sauce Gardner, that's the ceiling. And I think he's got a shot to do that.
We also asked Mitch Holtus about the fit that he thought Delane was in Spags' system. Here's what he said.
A perfect Spags corner. His size, he's bigger. He reminds me of like a Stephen Gilmore when in his heyday when he was with the Patriots. That's what he reminds me of, his body type and his core strength. But he's also got ball skills. And then he's a willing tackler. He won so many battles on tape that I was watching where it's a one-on-one battle against really good players in the SEC or when he was at Virginia Tech in the ACC. So he's a numbers to boundary defender to me on goes, but he'll get slants, but he'll also get a pick. He's got 191 career tackles. He's a willing tackler, and the guy has leadership qualities.
So that was Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rob, let's talk a little bit more about Mansour Delane. I do think, and this is maybe just me just taking a gauge at social media, I think some of the backlash has kind of subsided a little bit as I think it is becoming more and more apparent. I don't think the Chiefs really had a plan in getting Ruben Bain. Now, we'll see if they were right or wrong, and maybe you are frustrated because they could have just drafted Caleb Downs and kept their draft picks. But if you are buying this report from Albert Breer, which I 100% do, this is what he wrote today for Sports Illustrated. As the draft got closer, the Chiefs figured out if they stayed at 9, they would have lost out on Delane, but they would have ended up with Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson went off the board at 8, so they wouldn't have had Jordan Tyson. So now it seems to me like there was a fork in the road. The Chiefs had a chance to go get Mansour Delane. The Chiefs, if you continue to read the story, the Chiefs then would have been very interested to go get Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson ended up being 27th overall in the draft. So they thought, at least at the time, that they were going to have to give up either a 3rd or a 4th round to be able to move up to go get Chris Johnson. So the Chiefs' logic was, why not just give up the 3rd rounder to go get the guy that they liked more? So the Chiefs got a top 5 player on their board at a position of impact, and they got a guy that they absolutely loved. I like that move. I'd rather go get Mansour Delane with the extra draft pick compensation that they had to give up than go get Caleb Downs at 9. I've been pretty clear on this from the very, very beginning. I think Downs is a good player. The position value was not there for me to select a safety with the 9th overall pick because I think we all would agree. I mean, I'd rather have the 7th best cornerback in the league than have the best safety in the league. Like, how far down the list would you have to take where you rather have the best safety in the league over X number corner? Like, if we're going down the list, I'd rather have the 8th or 9th best corner in the league than have the best safety in the league. I just think the potential of what Delane can be, I think, was too great for them, and I think they felt like they had to go up to go get him.
Here's my thing, and we don't need to re-legislate, which was most of the show Friday, about Mansour Delane. I think the player is good, but I think the Chiefs' process was wrong, and I understand what you're saying, but I don't think the Chiefs hated Ruben Bain. I mean, we just had Nate Taylor in studio last hour, and he said he was hearing from people in Kansas City that they had at least looked at or considered Ruben Bain. Now, maybe they didn't have him as a top 10 prospect. I don't know. But
which that is not good if you plan on picking at 9.
True.
And you also show an ability, a desire that you want to go move up. We thought this entire time they were far more likely to move up than they were to move back. They then actually went up to go get a player that they actually like. I said on this show, I never thought they were going to pick at 74. I thought 74's main purpose was exactly what they used it for. We are going to dangle 74 out there to go get exactly what we want. That's what happened.
I'll just say this. They need to be right about Mansour Delane, because if the two options were Caleb Downs or Bain, pick a player, and Chris Johnson at 29 made trips like 25 to get him, or Delane and Peter Woods. Delane needs to be light years better than Chris Johnson and needs to be a massive impact player at an important position. Because if they missed out on potentially Ruben Bain or potentially Caleb Downs, and because they think they got the best corner in the draft, he needs to be a Pat Surtain type. He needs to live up to what Mitch Holtus said with us on Friday. I know he's on the show in about 10 minutes, that he can be a Stingley type. He can be one of those type of players. If he lives up to that billing, then no one cares about the process. Rush is lacking, and you got a solid corner, but you could get a solid corner a lot of places in the draft.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, you're saying you'd rather have the 7th best corner than have someone like Troy Polamalu. C-Dot, you're talking crazy. I'd rather Cooper DeJean. Would you rather Quinyon Mitchell or have Kyle Hamilton? Would you rather have J.C. Horn or have him? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you rather Trent McDuffie or have Kyle Hamilton? I'm saying, like, if we sat here and made a list over the top 10 corners in the league, I think, and I'm shocked you say that just based off positional value. I'm shocked 7th best corner in the league than having the number 1 safety in the league right now.
I agree with you conceptually. I also don't think Cooper DeJean is the 7th best corner in the league. That's why that one kind of gave me pause. But yes, conceptually, I'd much rather have a top 10-ish corner than an elite safety. Although I do think in the Chiefs defense, I've seen what an elite safety play can do. Because it wasn't like when Tyrann Mathieu was here, the Chiefs were flooded with corners, and he made that team a lot better. So, like, that would be the argument on the other side.
And I also argue, like, if we're now arguing, would you rather have the best safety, or, like, are we saying, like, historically? Like, are we saying, like, the 7th best corner in the history of the league against who you think the best safety is? I think the argument was still, like, in today's NFL, with the way that the rules are now, yeah, I think if we go back and we look at the all-pro safeties from last year and we look at the all-pro corners, like after Kyle Hamilton, Rob, the next safety for the all-pro team was Kevin Byard. He was a free agent this year. New England, safety is just, it is not a super valuable position with the way that the NFL is right now. When the NFL was about, you could really legislate the middle of the field and you could have a Sean Taylor type or an Ed Reed type that could really enforce the middle of the field, yeah, safety was a really, really big deal. But now that that's not what the NFL is right now, and it's much more primarily played on the outside, that's where a corner, we've seen the value is always super high. Now it's just risen so much. Yeah, the value, I much rather have done what the Chiefs did than them stay at 9 and go get Caleb Downs. Because if you get it right with Mansour Delane, he is just a more valuable player than I think Caleb Downs can be in today's NFL. Think about it. I mean, it's been, 15, 20 years since the prime of Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu? Who's been close to that since? The game is just drastically different now than it was before. Coming up on the other side, we're going to be joined by Mitch Holtus, voice of the Chiefs. That's next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
In a field of thousands, one has emerged. Back from the brink, now poised to take its rightful place amongst the greatest lawns of all time. It's the birth of a true turf champion, and it's Weedman for the win. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get one free service.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship, because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks 30 total.
deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all way day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The Tires at Cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
23rd Street, Missouri 78, near Television Place off I-435 in the Blue Summit area is flooded and impassable. Westbound I-70 near Broadway, Prospect, and the Loop, including the Benton Curve, lanes are closed for high water. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan traffic.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, to recap the draft as it has concluded. Mitch, happy to have you on the show today.
Yeah, it's awesome to be with you. Quite the weekend. And feeling good about it after the smoke is cleared. I'm just going through every team's draft right now with the binder, as you know, put together by Austin Woodard, your Missouri Southern Lion offensive tackle alum. But I go through every team and catalog every pick, and it's just interesting. Some teams did a really good job. I think the Chiefs are right in that discussion.
So let's start here because you and I spent a lot of time on Friday talking about the first round selection. Let's talk about the rest of the draft. You and I both felt like 40 was a pivotal point for the Chiefs. You could have went on the defensive route, which they chose to go, or you could have went wide receiver. What do you make of their decision to stay on defense as opposed to going to offense with the 40th overall pick?
I've talked to you many times, C-Dot, about how I think the league has changed in some ways dramatically over the past 12 to 18 months. And one of those ways is, and especially in the AFC, and particularly in the AFC West, where Bo Nix is getting the ball out fast. Jim Harbaugh's wanting the ball to get out fast. They don't want to take sacks. They're running quick slants, quick routes, sneaky checkdowns that aren't checkdowns, they're really screens. And so these short passes from 5 to 8 yards nullify the, hey, I'm patting the ball, it's 5 and 7 steps, and you're going to sack me. The ball's coming out so fast, you need quick pressures. It is why Denver, a big reason why Denver's built such a good defense the last 2 years. You think about Nick Bonito and Cooper on the other side. They disrupt or deflect and throw the rhythm off the play. Now, that's where I think R. Mason Thomas comes into play. I look at him as a comparison because the Chiefs are doing something different here to go with an edge player who's 240 pounds. But Nick Bonito is the same size. You know, they both played at Oklahoma, R. Mason Thomas and Nick Bonito. Both of them are from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm sorry. Yeah, both of them are from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But R. Mason Thomas now gives you a quick rusher within the fraction of a second, and not the move, spin, hand placement, fight. He's just coming fast. So it's a bit of a different move here by the Chiefs defensively, and I think it's probably a good one. He'd probably be a situational player, but you can't ignore the productivity when you look at what he did with 22 sacks in 2 years, but then also the disruption and the fact that he could throw the timing off a flight. 11 quarterback hurries in 2024 also gets your attention.
I've seen a lot of people make the point, Mitch, that this isn't a typical Spags type defensive lineman. When I look at his physical traits, it seems a lot like Broncos defensive lineman Nick Bonito to me.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
And the fact that it goes all the way through, the fact that he went to the same school and same high school area, the different high schools in Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, he's a Nick Bonito potential clone. I hope he is, because Nick Bonito is really good. But again, because of their frame and their skill set, very similar. You're going all the way down. I went back and looked at Nick Bonito's measurements when he came out of the into the draft, and it's really close to a cut and paste with our Mason Thomas.
Yeah, and then I look at the possibilities of where the Chiefs could have gone. I think it's going to be interesting to track here over the next couple of years. They had a chance to get the Kansas City kid, the product, Cassius Howell from Rockhurst. He ends up going to the Bengals right after Kansas City. And then Zion Young, who at Mizzou, Chiefs certainly are very aware of him. He ends up going to the Baltimore Ravens. So all three of those prospects end up staying at the AFC. It's going to be very interesting to kind of track those three development and see who got it right and wrong over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's always the case, but it really becomes part of the discussion when they get drafted in such a close proximity. And that's when runs happen, where there was a run on tight ends in the second round. And then when those guys it's just easier to compare them as the years go on when they're drafted in such close proximity. But I like Zion Young a lot. I loved his video, but you got a little bit of that with Peter Woods, because to me, Peter Woods is going to give you some of that skill set. With Zion Young being bigger, he's up at what, headed towards 270. You're going to get that kind of quickness and lateral side-to-side effort and work from Peter Woods, the last pick in the first round for the Chiefs.
Mitch, are you going to join me on the bandwagon to bring Cam Jordan in?
Yeah, why not? Although, yeah, for the right price, we're going shopping, right? What's our budget?
That's a great point. I don't know what his number is going to be, but I'm just looking at that defensive line. And one thing I think would help round it out, because they got a lot of youth, they got a lot of inexperience, and guys who I think have high potential upside. I would love to have somebody on that opposite side and kind of that Charles Omenihu type, a guy with a little bit more of a proven track record. And that's where I think you can go get Cam Jordan at a decent price, trying to come in and trying to win a championship to close out his career.
Well, and look at what Brett Veach has done during his time. So whether it's Cam Jordan or not, we can give many examples where Brett Veach has always tried to keep some cash in the petty cash drawer, try to manage the cap, where he is able to make a move like that. And we have, we can see great examples down through the years. Guys have come back and had impact players. So, yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but Brett Veach is thinking that way, if not specifically for Cam Jordan, some other version of it.
Right now, we're joined by the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holtus, joining us on the show. Mitch, are you surprised that the Chiefs drafted a running back in this class, given how much resources that they spent in free agency on running backs?
No, especially when the board gives you an Emmett Johnson. You don't pass that. Just way too much productivity, and then his skill set. It's because I went back and compared him to Amir Abdullah, and think about Abdullah has played in the league for over 10 years. The 40 time is probably why Emmett Johnson dropped. That's the fact that he's not going to blaze anything at 4.56. Guess what Amir Abdullah ran when he was coming out of Nebraska? 11 years ago? He ran 4.55. Now, the productivity is off the chart. And in fact, his overall all-purpose yards were the best since Amir Abdullah at Nebraska. But you can't look past the 46 receptions and actually 85 in 2 years. That becomes a real weapon because, again, go back to what I'm saying, how the NFL has changed. if you make your screen game better or you get creative in the screen game, these so-called checkdowns, but let's say Creed Humphrey all of a sudden pops out of the clouds and now he's in front of Amir Abdullah, and it's not a check down. It's a one-man screen, or a tackle can go out there to have you design it, and now you're going to pick up some yardage. He's a great screen runner, swing routes, and he can turn them into chunks. And so you get fired up about the running back room, which has transformed dramatically over a year ago. And I'm going to throw Marty DeMercado in there because DeMercado, it'll be interesting to see the battle between DeMercado and Johnson. And, Johnson's 205. Somebody's got to get the short yardage stuff done, and maybe Ken Walker does all that. But you're going to be much more effective, in my opinion, at least looking at it from afar before you even get into OTAs, with the passing game to the running back, which has become a huge weapon in this league.
Mitch, I feel like the Chiefs have been listening to our conversations throughout the course of the season because, they really did what both of us wanted them to do. In all our conversations, I kept telling you I wanted more of an emphasis on them running the football. I wanted them to invest in the run game. That's exactly what they've done. When we ask you, hey, what do you think the issue is? You mentioned this defense needed to get younger. They needed to get more athletic. They needed to get off the field on third down and be a defense that could force and create turnovers. I feel like this offseason, they checked the box for both you and I.
And honestly, I just think the secondary is going to be just more aggressive. I think that getting off the field means knocking down a slant at 8 yards, or it's 3rd and 10, and you have the ability, if you're called to play two deep zone or you're dropping, but you can immediately explode in a 3 to 4 yard area, attack the ball and knock it down and make them punt, or you pick it, or you deflect it. One of the great highlights when you look at Delane, at Mansour Delane, where it is Texas A&M's trying to run a bubble screen, and they slot blitz Mansour, and he tips the ball for an interception. That's very much a Trent McDuffie kind of play. Those are the kind of plays that were void last year. And so I just think overall I'm excited to see what it can do. Now, the linebacker core, we'll see how it responds. But I think up front got a whole lot better, and I think that the secondary is just going to be feistier. And, again, that is a way of combating the way the NFL has changed, especially the AFC West.
I always love to ask people the question, if you had one word to describe something, what would you use? I was trying to answer this question for myself when I think of their draft, because I'm not really a draft letter grade individual. I just think it's a worthless exercise at this point. Like, we'll get that answer down the line.
My least favorite, thanks for not asking that. Now, the morning guys asked me, and I went ahead and did it, but that's my least favorite thing other than the 795th mock draft.
Yeah,
but I don't like to give letter grades on drafts. How many grades did you get before you took the class?
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's a fruitless exercise. But I will ask you if you had to think of one word to describe this draft, because the word that I would use is refresh. If you look at what they've done this season with how they've drafted, this is a complete refresh of their defense. They had 9 selections. They used 7 picks in total on their defense. You then mentioned Emmett Johnson, and I like the wide receiver, but just based on their history, you're not counting on him being a number 1 or number 2 type guy. He's going to be a number 3, number 4, helping special teams, more of a developmental guy. This draft was about them pressing reset and doing a refresh on their defense. That's why that's the word that I would use. What's the word you would use to describe their draft?
I would say renaissance. And what I mean is, and here's what I'm hopeful for, or repeat, and that is a replication of the 22 class or something close to it. I was so impressed with Delane, and actually Peter Woods on Friday when I got a chance to talk to him. But Emmett Johnson brings that to your locker room as well. There's a little bit of 22 feel to this class. So I would say either renaissance or repeat. And that's a good thing when you look at this team, because that kind of fits into your reset or reboot, because I really think overall with free agency, the Chiefs are doing that.
Right now, we're joined by the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtus. Our draft coverage on the show was brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and also the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Mitch, are you surprised that the Chiefs didn't spend more resources on wide receiver this offseason?
Well, people would say, what's your question mark now? And I would say either wide receiver or move tight end, where you've got got an effective, consistent receiver at 8 to 13 yards who catches everything. Now, Travis Kelce's given you that since 2014, but a wide receiver, because that's what teams are giving you. And it's why Jackson Smith and Jigba piled up 1,500 yards, where you've got that medium range receiver that's in a pocket, is able to make a catch in what I call a tight window catch. You talk about tight window throws that Patrick Mahomes can make in his sleep, but you have to make a tight window catch. You're close to me, you're going to hit me, I know you're going to hit me, I still catch everything. And even though you're going to hit me, I might shed off that hit and move on. So that to me still has to kind of be answered, because right now the wide receiver room looks like there's lots of Tyquan Thornton type, you're going Xavier Worthy, but who's going to make the tough Juju Smith-Schuster kind of catches in that mid-range area? And then I would say linebacker. Leo Chenal's a loss. It's a loss. I'm just telling you, he did more than people think. So the linebacker core will be one to watch and see how it develops.
I won't ask you the toss-up question that I asked Nate Taylor earlier. I'll phrase it a little bit.
I'm going to give you another one. I'll give you another one before, and that is just being more athletic. I talk about being feisty on defense. It's time to get feisty back again on special teams, meaning you're creating turnovers or you're creating splash plays. Very similar to Nico Remigio's returns in the playoffs 2 years ago in the 24 season. But think about big plays in special teams. You're blocking punts. Those flip games now, the games are so tight and close that I want to see, and that comes from athleticism throughout your entire roster.
Mitch, I know we always kind of joke about you calling me snap count dot, and I'm very much into snap counts, but a major reason on why I'm into snap counts is it usually tells the story. Like, they can say one thing on Monday and Tuesday, but on Sunday, with who plays, where they play, how often they play, it normally answers the question. I think the draft is similar in where they put their resources normally tell me what they're worried about and what they're not worried about. They put a lot of confidence in Rashee Rice heading into the season. They put a lot of confidence into Jalen Moore. They didn't draft any offensive linemen. They didn't really bring anybody to challenge him. With Rashee Rice, they are counting on him having a number one wide receiver type of season.
It's time to go. He has that capability. And there again, it goes back to can he regain the form he had before the ACL, where catch everything at 8 to 12 yards and do it where you don't have to scheme a player into that play. Coach Reed is so good with the offensive staff of creating schemes where I will get you open in that 8 to 15-yard area. But the way the league is now, give me a player who can get that done without me scheming in that guy into that play. And so that's where I think Rashee's got to make that next jump up, or at least go back to where he was before he had the ACL.
Mitch, you've seen a lot of undrafted guys make the league in your time as a broadcaster. I mean, one or two of these names that people are not talking about now, they're not going to get a lot of fanfare and a lot of press. I mean, one or two of these guys are going to overperform and make the 53-man roster. I know you haven't had a chance to dive deep into everybody. Are you hearing a couple of names with those undrafted guys that maybe has a chance to be a big surprise come August?
I've not done the deep dive into him, but the guy that really kind of gets my attention is Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke. Let's go back to special teams. We talked about the short arms of Bain for weeks and weeks and weeks. Vincent Anthony Jr.'s arm, his wingspan, he's got 34.5-inch arms. That will get you some passes defensed, which he had 8 at Duke. He had 13 quarterback hits and hurries in 2024. When as an undrafted player, I'm kind of fired up to watch him. What do you have there? So that would be one, I think, that jumps up. The local kid, I talked about a move tight end, but the kid that played at Rockhurst, John Michael Gillenborg, I met his dad. I spoke at the Kansas City Area Bar Association, 500 attorneys or whatever, and his dad was one of the leaders in that group. And he goes, my son, we listen to you coming back from Laramie, Wyoming every time for the 9-hour drive. But John Michael had some productivity, but he's kind of the move tight end, like Brenning Stool that we got last year from Clemson. I think think of Dalton Kincaid or Dalton Schultz. and what the Houston Texans have done or the Bills have done with those guys. Could there be a guy like that? And who knows, if Gillenberg was injured last year at Wyoming, he missed like 4 games. But if he could stay healthy, he might be a guy that would be kind of fun to watch during the developmental stages of this team in camp and in the OTAs.
That is Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show. Mitch, I'm a little bit sad. I'm always happy to talk to you. I'm not sure the next time you're going to be on the show. I mean, we're kind of done with free agency now. There's OTAs and mini camp. I don't really see I can't see us doing many interviews on OTAs and rookie mini camp. I don't know if I'm going to talk to you for a couple of months.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay to let the engines cool down, but you know what? Here's what you and I can do. We'll start it. I think that it's just big to be done, and this isn't the UFL or whatever. This is basically you take I don't want to say minor league version, but the Chiefs would play the Vikings, and Nussmeier's quarterbacking the Chiefs, and he's throwing to Gillenberg, or he's and you've got the kid from Duke that I mentioned, who's Vincent Anthony, play the Vikings in Des Moines. And it's basically like the fourth quarter of a preseason game, but let that be a real thing. Just play 4 games. Don't make it, expensive. But I think if you suited up 40 to 45 guys, make it developmental for coaches. And I know it's a pipe dream, but can you imagine if we're playing the Vikings in Des Moines this week, or the Cowboys in Oklahoma City or Wichita? And it's going to be the guys that I just mentioned playing the Dallas guys that are in that same category. I think it's waiting to be done, and that I'm sure the Players Association would freak out.
Oh man, Mitch Holtus wants an NFL spring game. You know what? That's actually a good idea.
NFL Europe. I got to have a developmental league. A fourth quarter of the preseason doesn't give me an idea, especially now when it's hard to evaluate guys playing at 4 different colleges. Okay, I know you got to get to break.
No, you're good.
To me, it was an alarming statistic. Did you see the statistic that it was the fewest amount of colleges that had players drafted since 1938?
I did see that.
We're killing us. The first FCS guy taken was in the 4th round and like the 5th pick. I don't think there was a Division 2 or 3 guy taken, was there? Remember, there's be guys like Missouri Southern Rod Smith, or Missouri Western and Washburn guy, or that's gone. FCS is gone. I mean, 1AA, the old FCS is, so these guys are getting poached and moved up, but they're maybe playing 1 year at a place where they got bought to play NAL, but they're not getting the amount of reps that they would have if they were staying at an FCS school. It's harder to get evaluation on it. And so you're getting to less places. There's no more minutes in games, and there's no expanded roster where you're playing. So those guys, they're paying them to move, but then if they don't make the top whatever at that school, they're not getting to play. And they would have at the FCS. And think how many great NFL players developed later and came from FCS schools or Division II schools or even Division III schools or NAI schools. That's all gone. And I'm not sure it's a good thing, because this league has got to develop players. NIL stops when you get to the NFL. And I think somebody told me that Jeremiah Love got asked, "Hey, you ready to buy the car?" The car, he's already bought it. I bought it at Notre Dame like 3 years ago. All right, to me, that's not. I don't know if that's a good thing, because we're just going to start to see the effect of it. Because if some player does not make it or doesn't succeed early in the career, what happens now? So this football is a game where you must develop at all levels. And I just hope the NFL doesn't suffer because of it.
That is Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show today. Mitch, great stuff. Appreciate your time as always.
You, sir. You got it.
Absolutely. As Mitch Holtus joining us on the show. I had a topic. I'll save it for the top of the hour. I do think this, Rob, and we got a little bit of time to get into this. I do think there's a whole lot of merit to what Mitch is saying about the back half of the draft. I don't know if people care, but this is also why I know you're really big on stockpiling picks. The 5th, 6th, and 7th round prospect in 2026 is not as good as the 5th, 6th, 7th round prospect that existed 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. I mean, I don't think we talk enough about, Rob. There was maybe 100, 150 kids that would have benefited by staying another year at school, but then had to enter the NFL draft just purely for financial reasons. I got to take care of mom. I got to take care of dad. I got to take care of my siblings. So I'm going to join the draft. Now, there's no reason, if you're not projected to be a day 1 or day 2 pick, there's no reason for you to enter the NFL draft. You don't have to. Go back to school. Somebody's going to pay you a decent amount of money. You're going to make more money. You don't got to go to even Alabama. You will make more money going to Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri. You will make more money going back to school instead of being the 6th round pick. So I think you're getting guys who are just going to stay in college football a little bit longer. But just as we are kind of rotating and getting used to this, I don't know if those 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, I don't know if they are coming in like they're just not as good anymore. I think that ends up being the case. I do think that Mitch said something really, really interesting that I want to dive into. It is now go time for 3 players on the Chiefs. I'll tell you who they are next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
On the Kansas side, several county roads in Wyandotte and northern Johnson County have dangerous standing water. There are no widespread interstate closures in the Kansas City metro right now, and high water is receding. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
It's Chris Mack with a Sports Betting Minute brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Saturday was ugly for the Pistons, as the Magic won to go up 2-1 in a series that shouldn't have necessarily been a walkover, but never should have created such strife for the 1 seed. Paolo Banchero and Desmond Bane have come to life for Orlando in the postseason, but they're still following that familiar zigzag pattern that we talk about in the NBA playoffs. So I'm counting on Detroit to lock down on defense as they did in Game 2, and even up this series at 2 games apiece. The Pistons laying just 2.5 points at BetMGM for tonight's critical Game 4. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hello?
Hey, sis. Got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, I think that the conversation about the draft is almost as important for what they did do versus what they did not do. Let's start with what they did not do. Now, there was a lot of conversation about the Chiefs potentially drafting an offensive lineman. We'll get to that. There was even more conversation about the Chiefs being involved with a wide receiver. Now, I know they picked one up in the 5th round, but I've watched way too much Chiefs football to go into this season with the expectation that the 5th round pick is going to help them this season. That's not to say he can never help them, but I am not counting on him helping them this year. He will be a developmental, special teams, maybe a gadget play here and there, but he is not going to be an every down type receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I teased this right before the break, and Rob, let's dive into it. And I got this thought process talking to Mitch Holtus, voice of the Chiefs. I asked him, hey, what do you think the draft says for the confidence that they have in Rashee Rice and Jalen Moore? And his first words were, it's time to go. It is time to go for 3 members of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's time to go for Rashee Rice. It's time to go for Xavier Worthy. It's time to go for Jalen Moore. Now, for all different reasons, I don't think many of us are doubting or not whether Rashee Rice can play. It's, can he stay healthy? Can he put it together? We have always talked about him being a top 15 receiver, a top 20 receiver. Well, you got to put one of those seasons together. He hasn't, but the injury cloud is removed from him. He is healthy, presumably, coming into the season. This is a contract year. There's a lot of superlatives that if Rashee Rice is ever going to figure it out, and whatever talent at one point you thought Rashee Rice had, whether you were on board a year ago, whether you were on board 2 years ago, whether you were on board until week 13 last season and then you got off, at one point you believed in Rashee Rice. All the belief that you have in Rashee Rice, we will get our definitive answer in this upcoming season. If he can be that guy, we will find out this year. We have made all the excuses in the world for Xavier Worthy. It's been a Patrick Mahomes thing, and then Travis Kelce ran into him, and then how can you run the ball if you're not healthy? And, well, how can you expect him to be good because Rashee Rice isn't there? All the excuses are out the window. You are going into this season healthy. You got a better wide receiver coach. This is the most complete the Chiefs offense has been around Xavier Worthy. They are counting on him. This is his 3rd year. This is a big season on whether or not the Chiefs are going to pick up your fifth-year option. It's not a contract year in the same way that it is for Rashee Rice, but this is a very, very important season in Xavier Worthy's development and in his career. It is go time. There are no more excuses for me when it comes to Xavier Worthy. Same thing for Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore has gotten very far off not playing a whole lot, but giving you the thought process that he could if he got more time. It's kind of like how a backup quarterback would be. Well, if he was your starter, he could be, all right. There is no one blocking Jalen Moore for the first time in his NFL career. There is no Trent Williams. There is none of that. There is no Jawan Taylor. Jalen Moore, after all of the moves of this offseason, he should be the week one starter at right tackle and will be given every opportunity to have success. If Jalen Moore doesn't have success, that is a Jalen Moore issue and nobody else. It is go time for those three individuals. We'll talk about what they did do in the draft, but I think it is as important of a conversation to talk about what didn't happen and what the Chiefs didn't do in the draft versus what they did in the draft. They completely refreshed and retooled their defense. We'll talk about that. But they have put a battery in the back of Rashee Rice. They have put a battery in the back of Xavier Worthy. They are counting on them. A large majority of you, a great portion of you, thinks they don't have enough at wide receiver. You want to know why you don't think they have enough at wide receiver? Because you don't believe in Rashee Rice anymore and you don't believe in Xavier Worthy anymore. And I can't tell you that you're wrong based on what they have actually done and what they've handed you. Jalen Moore. Oh, well, he would have been a starter, but no one would start over Trent Williams. Well, why couldn't he start on the right side? Well, they already paid Jawan Taylor. Well, okay, all right. There's no one blocking. We just had Nate Taylor on. Hey, is there any chance there's even a competition at right tackle? Is there a chance that he could lose his job to Issa Pole? No. Jalen Moore, for the first time in his career, is going to be a starting tackle in the National Football League. If he has it, we'll know. If he doesn't have it, we'll also know. It's go time for those three individuals. So that is what I want to make the unofficial hit number one. Rob, let's talk about what they did do in the NFL draft, and let's shout out Baker University.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number one.
Carrington Hits are brought to you by the Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for the Salvation Army Civic Lunch, which will be taking place on May 7th.
Someone said, CDOT, you forgot one person. You have to include Felix Onudike onto that list. You know what? You're right. Now, I think it's a little bit different than with those other individuals, but right now, they are absolutely counting on Felix giving you something in the pass rush department. Now, I'm for them going to get Cam Jordan, and that will be one of the hits. But right now, if you are looking at their rush ends, it is George Karlaftis, Ashton Gelati, Felix, R. Mason Thomas, Cooper McDonald, Ethan Downs, and Tyreek Smith. Now, I really want them to go get Cam Jordan. I want them to have a measure of dependability on that other side. I'm not the biggest on George Karlaftis, but he's a good player. Now, we might disagree on what we think his ceiling can be and can he get there, but George Karlaftis is going to give you somewhere between 6.5 to 9.5 sacks. He is a good player. He has not been a great player. He has been a good player in the National Football League. Well, Felix has never done anything. Ashton Gelati also has never done anything. Omar Norman-Lott, who plays more on the interior, was hurt for most of last season, hasn't proven anything. Peter Woods, just now entering the National Football League. R. Mason Thomas. Once you get outside their top three defensive linemen, so George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, and Kyrus Tonga, and Tonga just recently started to prove it. Like, he kind of went through a little bit of a slow period too. They are incredibly unproven on that defensive line. So I'm not holding anything against Ashton Gelati. I think that was expected in his first year. Omar Norman-Lott was part of the rotation. He got hurt. R. Mason Thomas, he's a rookie. We'll see what he can contribute. Felix, that job is open. There are snaps to be had for Felix Onudike-Uzomah. This is also a contract year for him. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. He was hurt last year. If there's somebody who should be hankering to get back on the field, it should be Felix. Hey, we're talking about bringing in Cam Jordan because we don't believe in you. There's a lot of time, Rob, between we think that they would actually go up and pick Cam Jordan up, right? We're not talking about them picking him up. He's not showing up at minicamp. We don't think he's showing up to OTAs. I don't think they would go get Cam Jordan until August. That's a lot of snaps for Felix. That's a lot of snaps for Ashton Gelati right in front of their coaches to prove you don't have to bring anybody else in. The solution is right here in this room. We got enough pass rush right here. It's like available minutes on a basketball team. Somebody's got to be the leading scorer. Somebody's got to get assists. Somebody's got to rebound. Why not me if that's the case? That's how Felix Anudike-Uzomah should be. Like, he is one poor season away from being out of the league. I'm talking about he is one season away from using his degree. He is one season away from updating his LinkedIn or having a good year and continuing to stay in the league for a little bit longer, continuing to get more chances in the National Football League. So, no, you're 100% right. We can incorporate him into this conversation, too. It is also go time for the first-round pick. We gave you the redshirt year. You got injured last year. You're heading into your fourth season at what a lot of people think is the biggest position of need for Kansas City. One of the reasons it's a big need is because you have not turned out to be what people expected you to be.
Number 2.
Somebody said, what about Noah Gray? I mean, at this point, we kind of know what Noah Gray is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really think there's much more for Noah Gray in this offense than what he's been giving you.
Yeah, sometimes guys are backups. No offense to Noah Gray.
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's not the heir apparent, but so it goes.
There ain't no more ceiling for Noah Gray than what he is. Noah Gray is a guy that's going to get you somewhere between 200 and 350 yards receiving. I don't think he's giving you much more than that, and that's okay. You're right. You know what? Noah Gray is going to play like 8 years in the league, and then he's going to become a weekly guest on a Kansas City sports talk radio station. Noah Gray is going to have a great life.
I mean, there are worse lives to live. His second contract was not rich by NFL standards, but for the earth, yeah, he got an idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Be fine.
Yeah, no. So shout out to Noah Gray. That's not me hating on Noah Gray at all. I don't think there's much more for Noah Gray. I think he is a number 2/number 3 tight end that will. I'm telling you, he will retire from the NFL and he'll be doing morning radio in Kansas City, chiming in on how the Chiefs are doing. Hey, salute to Noah Gray. All right, Rob. You know what? Let's talk about this. Because I know deep down you are really unhappy with the Chiefs offseason. I know you don't want to say it because you don't want the fire and brimstone of the text line. The text line, usually, they're hard on me. They leave you alone for the most part. You don't really get called the names that I do on the text line, and that's fine. But I saw when you were hating on some of the Chiefs' moves, the text line was kind of turning on you, and now you've stepped to the back. But now we need you here. Your least favorite position is running back. If there's one thing that we know about Rob Britton, it's that, one, he is a loving husband, a great son. He also, number 2, hates linebackers, hates running backs. You know the room that the Chiefs went in and they did the most redecorating to? They had the biggest refresh, even more so than corner. Think about that, even more than corner. And they have basically almost started over completely at corner. They have done more to their running back room than any room on their team. They have they have a new number 1, a new number 2, and after getting 1 and 2, they spent another draft pick on a running back. Now, Rob, this warms my heart. I don't understand why we treat rush yards so differently than we treat receiving yards. People will go crazy over a Byron Pringle. You mean basically what your second running back would do or what your third running back would do? People are always clamoring about number 1 wide receivers. You mean like what your running back would do? Getting you 1,400 yards, carrying the ball, catching it out of the backfield, getting 250 touches? That's a very important position. I'm happy that we're getting back to acknowledging that your offense needs some balance. You got to run the ball. You got to throw the ball. You got to protect your quarterback. You got to be solid up front. I'm happy that people are starting to acknowledge these things. So I love their offseason. This is an offseason that gets them back to the traditional values of playing football. We're going to be fast and physical on defense and try to turn you over. We're also going to run the football effectively and use our running backs and get back to some of the creativity, like throwing it to them out of the backfield and incorporating them in the offense. I love their offseason. But, Rob, I know you. I met your family. I met your wife. We've broken bread. We've been to games before. You are one of my best friends. I know deep down you hate the Chiefs offseason. I know you do.
Hate is a very strong word.
You strongly dislike it.
I don't hate the Chiefs offseason. I just disagree that this was their biggest need, the way that after the Bucs Super Bowl, O-line was their biggest need. Brett Veach did everything that offseason. We're going to fix the O-line. After the Chiefs lost to the Brady Patriots in the AFC Championship game, we're going to do everything to fix this defense. He went overhaul. That's the Brett Veach special. Well, I know we call it, reclaim first-round picks. The real Brett Veach special is he walks into one room in the building at the end of the season and says, everyone pack their bags. I just disagree with him that refreshing and overhauling the running back room is a cure-all. I think their running backs are going to be better. It's impossible to be worse. But I do not believe that a running back room with 3 new faces makes the offense go from pretty mediocre to watch out, it's 2019 all over again. That's just the part me and Brett Veach disagree with. But I actually agree with you. That room needed upgrading. I don't know I would have drafted Emmett Johnson after signing DeMarcado and Kenneth Walker, but the room needed upgrading. I just think they went above and beyond when they didn't need to.
You want to know what excites me most about the Chiefs draft? I'm being completely serious. This is not a joke. This is not being tongue-in-cheek. I genuinely feel like the Chiefs' offensive plan the last couple of years has not allowed the best version of Patrick Mahomes. Take a look at all of the good quarterbacks in the National Football League. All of the good quarterbacks in the National Football League also have the ability to run the football. And somehow in Kansas City, because 4 or 5 years ago, they did it with Damian Williams and they did it with this guy, somehow there was a spell that was placed over Chiefs Kingdom that was made to believe that running the football was not important nor something that you needed to be able to do as a football team. We are now back to me, the center. This is where they always should have been. Now, I'm not here, and I never bang the drum for them to turn into the Steve Bono Chiefs or the Marty Schottenheimer grinded out 3 rushes in a cloud of dust. No. But again, look at every team that people think is good and every team that people think have a chance to win the Super Bowl. All of them have an ability to be able to run the football. That there is so much emphasis on getting more weapons in the passing game. Man, the best thing you can give your quarterback is a reliable run game that takes the pressure off of them. We got to do everything to protect Pat. You know when they don't hit your quarterback? When he hands the football off. That's when they don't hit him. You can also get explosive plays out of the run game. The Chiefs have had no explosive run games or rushing attack. They have had no explosiveness in their run game other than their quarterback for the last 2 years. I gave this stat earlier in the show. It is so unrealistic. People would not believe me that this is the case, but I promise you, this was the Chiefs last season. The last year, the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs, their leading rusher was Kareem Hunt. He had 611 yards, and he averaged 3.7 yards per carry. Now, I know the argument's going to be, well, they give it to him in short yardage situations. A lot of teams give their number one running back carries in short yardage situations. They also have the ability to break big runs. They have the ability to just be a home run threat. That is not what he was. Their number 2 running back was Isaiah Pacheco. He averaged 3.9 yards per carry. This is the stat that will blow your mind. Isaiah Pacheco had 40 more rush yards than Patrick Mahomes this season on 54 more carries. That is almost impossible to do for your number 2 running back. It is impossible. The Chiefs are asking Patrick Mahomes with an okay wide receiver room that was banged up for most of last year or ineffective for last year, also to go be Superman on a team that could not run the football last year. It explains to me why their offense stalled out so much and why they weren't a good football team. This is a recentering to me. It is a recentering on both the offensive and the defensive end. The Chiefs have radically refreshed their defense in 2 seasons. Now, let's see if it works. But let's go through the draft picks they've spent the last 2 years. They got Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gillotte, Noel Williams, and Jeffrey Bassa last year. All 4 of those guys are going to start in 2026. Omar Norman-Lott's going to be a major contributor. Ashton Gelati is one of your young, improving defensive end who really showed you some juice at the end of the season. Noah Williams is either corner 2 or corner 3. Jeffrey Bossa is going to start in that linebacker room. You spent the 6th overall pick on a cornerback. He is going to be corner number 1. Peter Woods is also going to be a part of your defensive line. R. Mason Thomas is going to be a part of it. You guys love 4th, 5th, and 3rd round pick corners. They got you one. The kid Jadon Kennedy out of Oregon. This is a team that has invested significant resources into their defense. The Chiefs had 9 draft picks. They used 7 of them. If you include the trade up to go get Mansour Delane, they used 7 of their 9 picks to help solidify their defense. This is them saying, Pat, you don't have to do everything. Sure, Pat has to do a lot. He's the quarterback of a team. Of course, there's no debate there. But you know what? Pat shouldn't have to be our home run threat run. He shouldn't have to go out there. He shouldn't have to generate everything. That's not normal. This is a get back to the center on both the offensive and the defensive side of things. I am thrilled with the way that their offseason is gone. I wish I could come on here and complain. The show would be more dynamic. You guys would get all riled up. You know, it's good for the hot ticks, the clicks, the controversy. I don't have any complaints about how they've handled this offseason. Sure, what I would have done this, yeah, of course. But you know what I saw them do? I saw them have a clear plan and execute that plan. Their plan was, we need to run the football effectively and stop trying to ask Pat to do something we are not asking any other good quarterback in the league to do, and let's get younger, faster, cheaper, more physical on defense, and try to force turnovers. I cannot be mad at any of those plans. Now, I still want them to do more. It's kind of the job of a sports talk host. I'm interested in them making a play to go get Tyreek Hill. I would love for them to go get Cam Jordan. But the offseason portion, for the most part, is 70% over in terms of player acquisitions. I love the addition to go get Kenneth Walker. I love the philosophy that they had in the draft. This is the plan you should have heading into Patrick Mahomes' 30s. Let's run the football more effectively. Let's be a more well-rounded and more complete defense to build around our quarterback. This is what good teams do.
I actually love what the Chiefs have done on defense. Now, I would have liked an edge rusher higher in the draft, but you know what? They believe in George Karlaftis. I don't think that's the worst play in the world because he's still a player who is technically not started his second contract yet. I don't think that's the worst play in the world. I do have some worries about their defense.
Me too.
I don't think it's infallible, but I do think, and Mitch Holtus has said this dozens and dozens of times on the show over last year when the Chiefs struggled. He wanted the defense to be more like Seattle. And he talked about how Seattle's defense is a bunch of dudes in their prime, first contract, flying around, making plays. That was something that he kept saying. He talked about how there's a change in the league. You want young, athletic guys who can get the best of players in the first 3 seconds of a play. I don't know that every player the Chiefs picked up is going to be able to become what they were doing in Seattle. But I know this. I much rather have Chris Jones sitting next to Peter Woods and Omar Norman-Lott than Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell. I much rather, across from George Karlaftis, it's a rotation of FAU and R. Mason Thomas than Mike Dana and Charles Omenihu. I just named one position group where they got light years younger. Cornerback, they're somehow younger, and they weren't in an old room last year. Safety, last year I know it was out of injury and necessity. How many times did you see Mike Edwards running around last year just getting cooked? That's not going to happen anymore because now you have Jaden Kennedy who can be that type of player. So I don't know that it's perfect. I don't know it's, get ready for a parade down grand, but I know that conceptually what the Chiefs have done on defense is say that the out with the old, in with the new, because the old was starting to look old last season.
I'm so happy, and I know you've heard me say this. What the Chiefs really needed was an infusion of talent from guys between the ages of 23 and like 27. They just didn't have a lot of good players in that range. I mean, I'm looking at the team right now. Kenneth Walker is 25. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy are under the age of the 25. You look at their offensive line, it's a little bit of a mix, but everybody on their offensive line is under the age of 30. Karlaftis is under 30. FAU is under 30. Ashton Gelati, Peter Woods, Omar Norman-Lott, R. Mason Thomas. Like, you've got an entire defensive line that you are now trying to build up. Look at their cornerback room. Look at the secondary with Noel Williams, Mansour Delane. You look at the guys that they have now. You are not going to hit on all of these picks. Some of these guys are going to exceed expectations. Some of these guys are going to bust out. That's just the National Football League. They have now given themselves a chance at a foundation to find who you can grow with, who you can build your foundation around, and who to move forward with. And as we start to gather more information, we like him, we want to pay him, we want to pay him, we don't want to pay him, let's move on. They've now given themselves that chance. This is a refresh. We are now officially, in my opinion, heading into Patrick Mahomes 2.0. He is coming off a significant injury. A lot of the guys that he has come up with, either on offense or defense, have now moved on. And the Chiefs, there's no question they've started over on defense again. You cannot debate it. When you look at the depth chart that they have now, they have completely started over on defense, and they have a young nucleus around their quarterback on the offensive side of the ball. This is the refresh that the Chiefs needed. They looked old, slow, outdated last year. This is a nice fresh coat of paint over that championship formula. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We have our sump pump special going, $200 off a main pump, $400 off a battery backup system. Call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The Tires at Cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLETire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where fine jewelry is always crafted with care no matter the price. Mother's Day, birthdays and graduations, weddings and anniversaries, the new job you got, and even the one you didn't. Give a birthstone necklace, a heart-shaped locket made in Italy, or high-quality diamond studs you can trade up every year. At Shane Company, we have something for everyone, because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, rock star. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Replacing your HVAC doesn't have to be an emergency. Plan now, pay less later. For a limited time, take advantage of an HVAC replacement with financing starting as low as $149 a month. More options, better timing, and less stress for your home.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
A two-vehicle crash blocking the left lane northbound 35 past Mission Road. Heavy congestion downtown KC, I-70, I-29, and Highway 71. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan traffic.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to make one point, and then I want to have today's edition, this week's edition of Spec Says. I don't think you can really undersell this year how important Rashee Rice is to the Chiefs offense. I really don't think you can undersell it. I think if you could see the stats from one person on the Chiefs roster, I think you would pick Rashee Rice. I don't know if the Chiefs can reach their ceiling this year if they don't get a good version of Rashee Rice. You don't need him to turn into some superhero, but you need him to be consistent. You need him to be healthy. You need him to be on the field. They need him to be a difference maker. He is their second best skill position player behind Kenneth Walker. They really, really need him this year. I see their moves this offseason as complete confidence in Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. That's how I see their moves. They had opportunities to get out of it if they wanted to, at least with one of them, where you could at least send the expectation, responsibility on one of them. They didn't choose to do that at all this year. They didn't go out and go get anybody at wide receiver. They kind of almost did the same thing at wide receiver that they did last year at running back, just with better options at the front. Remember last year, they had Pacheco, they had Kareem Hunt. All right, what were they going to do? Well, they went out free agency and they got Elijah Mitchell, who didn't play for them. They then went out in the NFL draft and got Brashard Smith, who a year later they have completely drafted over. If this was college football, they would have Brashard Smith in the transfer portal right now. He'd be going to a different school if this was college football. They are not giving him a chance at running back this year. Maybe he can help in special teams. Maybe he can help you do something else. They are not giving Brashard Smith a lot of carries this year. You cannot undersell how important they think Rashee Rice is. They don't really have a plan B if it doesn't work out with Rashee Rice. They don't have a plan B. They need him to be good this year. They need him to be vital. And I really think there's a lot of reasons to think that he can be. Sometimes I always feel like I kind of yin when everybody else is yang. Like, Rob, there was a time where the text line overvalued Rashee Rice as much as they've maybe ever overvalued a Chiefs player. I would say now it's the flip side. This is he's hurt you so much with his off-the-field stuff. Now you're trying to make it seem like you've never believed in Rashee Rice, when the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. I think Rashee Rice is a good, when healthy, productive wide receiver. Now, he has had some injury history, but I remember, Rob, when you and I used to bring it up and people were like, oh, you can't count that because he got hurt by, I remember that was a time. And now the off-the-field stuff, it is now over with Rashee Rice. Now, it could happen again, But we are not going to spend our summer. Well, how many games is he going to be suspended? Is it going to be? No, he's not getting suspended, and he is healthy. He is also entering a contract year. So if there is ever a time for you to get everything together and ball out, I don't even care if you got to fake it. You just got to fake it for 10 months. If Rashee Rice can stay out of trouble and be on his best behavior for 10 months, there is a multi-million-dollar pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. That's all you got to do. It's a multi-millions. Even if it doesn't come from Kansas City, if he has a good year, he ain't getting just a 1-year, $2 million deal. He will make more money next year than he will make in his entire rookie contract if he can just be cool. Be cool, stay out of trouble, ball out this season. They are very, very dependent on Rashee Rice having a good year. All right, let me play this audio for you guys. So every week we have a Spec Says. Sometimes we are just, I'm in Spec's office and we're just chatting and he says something. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why don't you go record it? Sometimes we're getting ready for the show. We're having a big show meeting and he says stuff. The Spec Says come from different places. Now, I got to tell you guys, I took one of Spec's sayings and I tweeted it out over the weekend. And the tweet, it blew up. Now, I saw the pick at the 40th overall pick. It was like Spec's words just came out, and I had to say it. Spec saw it, and he wants to clear the record. Here's Spec Says.
All right, to take you a little bit behind the scenes very quickly, each day, or at least most days, we have a pre-show meeting. What's coming up on the show, what guests are on, what are our topics. It's me, Rob, and CDOT. And so on Friday, after the Chiefs drafted 2 defensive players in the first round, I pitched an idea saying that with the Chiefs drafting Peter Woods and Mansour Delane in the first round, the team was basically telling you that on the defensive side of the ball, the players were the problem. And on the offensive side of the ball, it was a coaching issue. So that's what I pitched. Didn't make the show. No harm, no foul. Happens all the time. But then on Friday night with the 40th pick, the Chiefs select R. Mason Thomas, defensive end, Oklahoma. And at 6:42 p.m., Carrington takes to Twitter and tweets out, quote, "The Chiefs are telling you the offensive problems were coaching and the defensive problems were players." End quote. Huh. Weird. If that's the end of the quote, I guess that's the end of my Spec Says, and I'll let Carrington take it from here.
Okay, I mean, I did bite Spec's take. I will admit that. I took Spec's take on social media. I took his take. I mean, almost word for word what he said. I stole it. He was my ghostwriter. That's who he was. He ghost writ for me. I just went to go see Michael. He was my Rod Templeton. That's who he was. That's who he was. It was a good point. He is right. The Chiefs sent a clear message with their draft. On offense, they believe the issues on offense were, I would say, 3 things. I think we can expand it a little bit. Rob, the Chiefs told us this offseason their problems on offense stem from an inability to run the ball. It stemmed from poor coaching, and it also stemmed from injuries. That's what I think they are telling you. Now, you can't do anything about the injuries. Like, they brought everybody back. Those same guys can get hurt again. Like, Rashee Rice can get hurt again. Xavier Worthy can get hurt again. You cannot do something about that. The coaching, they did something about that. Connor Embry, I don't even think Andy Reid has his number in his phone anymore. He will never talk to Connor Embry again. Look at what you did to me. We're 6-10 now because of you. You got to go. Connor Embry, out of here. Matt Nagy, they didn't offer him a job. They didn't fire him. They let his contract expire, and they just told him, hey, it's best if you find employment elsewhere, and then immediately hired his replacement. So poor coaching, fixed. Injuries, can't do anything about that. Inability to run the football. The Chiefs go out and heavily invest in the run game and start from scratch when it comes to the run game. On the defensive side, I think they are giving you just one singular message. We didn't have enough dogs last year. So we went out and we found some dogs. Now, we had to lose some dogs. Jalen Watson, very good player. Trent McDuffie. But we had to get a little bit cheaper. We had to restart that process of finding the next Jalen Watson, the next Tershawn Wharton. We've kind of leaked some water. We've leaked some oil when it comes to that defensive side. We are going to spend a majority of our assets trying to replenish it, trying to find quality starters, and starting over from a financial prospect. They were communicating 2 very different things on offense and defense. They put, just based on their actions, they placed a lot of the blame on we didn't do enough to go get running backs and on their offensive coordinator. On defense, they didn't really make a whole lot of wholesale changes when it came to the defense. D-line coach back, secondary coach back, defensive coordinator back. They kept a lot of the infrastructure from a coaching standpoint, and they have just completely wiped that defense away and just made the decision to start over. Two very different messages on offense and defense.
To further just stealing Specs takes, what he said in the office that day after he said word for word what you tweeted is that offense, they're fine on Jimmy's and Joe's. They just got to fix the X's and O's. Defense, they did not feel that way. They felt like the X's and O's were fine, just the people executing it are not fine. So we'll see. I mean, someone on the text line says what they're doing to the defense is considered a rebuild. I mean, I guess, yeah, that'd be a way to describe it. The Chiefs are rebuilding their defense. The question will be, can they do it on the fly and stay competitive at the highest level? Because if they can't, then they'll be like a 10-7 playoff team, and you take a step forward the following year. If they can look like what happened in 2022 when they were one of the best teams in the league. They won the Super Bowl, and that defense was flying around with a bunch of 23-year-olds. But they are basically saying we have to rebuild that defense because it is old and decrepit, and they don't want old and decrepit running around at Arrowhead anymore.
I mean, the Chiefs' plan to me was very simple. Even aside from that point, like this is now a Carrington original thought. Their plan is trust in 4 people. That's their plan. That's been the Chiefs' plan now for a half decade. Their plan is simple. Trust in Patrick Mahomes, trust in Andy Reid, trust in Steve Spagnuolo, trust in Brett Veach. Trust in our ability, we will figure it out. When you look at the offense, it is solely based on Pat being healthy, being there. We have given you a much more complete offense, and we are trusting that you're going to do what you need to do this offseason to get healthy and be back here week 1. The Chiefs, too many people are saying it. The Chiefs are planning on Patrick Mahomes being there week 1. It is trust in Andy Reid. They didn't go out and radically change the offense. They didn't go out and hire some young whiz kid offensive coordinator. They went back to the well. They went back to where Andy is super comfortable, and they got a very familiar offensive voice. On the defensive side, Spags is one of the best defensive coordinators in the history of the league. I'll figure this out. You give me the guys, I'll figure out this defense, and I'll get it right. And also trust in Brett Veach. I mean, you trust your cornerback to make the move up from 9 to 6. You trust your quarterback, or you trust your general manager to have the plan that they had this offseason, where they loaded up on running backs and they loaded up on defense. Their plan is the same as it always been. Trust in our foundation. These are the 4 walls of our team. These are the 4 walls. It's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and Brett Veach. Trust in that foundation. That is what the Chiefs did this offseason. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. You know what? The NBA playoffs, they're getting kind of fun, Rob. Let's talk about it for a little bit. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking special drops you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. So head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Here's how I'm handling the daily happy hour. I open the app, see what's available, and suss out. Maybe it's a profit boost on a player point total. Maybe it's a bonus bet, and I'll take a big swing and try to make some mega money and keep that bonus bet in my back pocket. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. So go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Save $10 on a pair of Bosch Focus wiper blades. Our professional parts people will even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
A two-vehicle crash blocking the left lane northbound 35 past Mission Road. Heavy congestion downtown KC, I-70, I-29, and Highway 71. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
You know what? Actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to talk about the NBA anymore. I wrote this down and I forgot to talk about it. And I'd rather just talk about it now. And you guys don't care about the NBA anyway, so it doesn't matter. Rob, did you see that someone broke the record for completing a marathon this weekend?
I did. Sub 2 hours.
Now, I am not a marathon runner, but some of my very close friends are marathon runners. And I have a lot of respect for people that are willing to train for a marathon and put your body through a pretty grueling test. That's something I don't really have much of an interest in. If that's something that you're into, great. And I salute you, because I can only imagine how difficult it is to run for 26.2 miles. So, as someone who appreciates pretty incredible athletic feats, let me tell you that this person completed a marathon in 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds. That means, Rob, this person could have started the marathon at the beginning of Michael, finished a marathon, sat down, and still saw the ending of the movie, which is insane to me. If you are trying to put it into context how fast this person was running, this is an average pace of 4 minutes and 34 seconds a mile, and they did this for 26 miles. To put this into more perspective, Rob, this is an average of you running 13 miles an hour. For those of you that have a treadmill at home, I was reading a story about this. For those of you that have a treadmill at home, this is faster than your home treadmill goes. I'm not talking about the big ones at the gym. I'm saying is if you got a treadmill at the crib and you use that treadmill on average goes around 10 to 12 miles an hour. Can you imagine putting it on the absolute highest setting of your treadmill and doing that for 26 miles? That's what this person did. This is one of the most impressive athletic feats that we have ever seen. I know it's not going to be discussed like that, but this is one of the most impressive athletic feats that any human being has ever accomplished. This should be treated like when somebody did the first sub 4 minute mile. Was it Roger Bannister, I think the person's name was? This is what this is. If you finish a marathon in less than 2 hours, you are a superhero. One of my really good friends actually just finished a marathon. I can't remember which name it was, but they just finished one. I put this into our group chat, and he laughed and said, it took me 4 hours and 15 minutes. I said, this person would have lapped you. It would have lapped you. They would have ran the marathon, kept running, and eventually they would have passed you. What? This is insane. This is incredible. I'm serious. This is one of the most incredible athletic feats that we have ever seen. You ran 13 miles an hour for 2 hours? My mind is blown. I'm serious. It's blown.
I don't disagree with the impressiveness of the feat, but do we as sports fans care? Because I think it's impressive too. Do you know the man's name who did it? I saw it this morning,
it's
but
like
I've already...
Sebastian Saul or something.
I know it's SS is his initial. I think it's Sebastian, but the fact that me and you, we did our last segment and we can't remember his name makes me think the sports watching community does not find it as impressive as it truly is. But 2 hours on 26 miles is nuts.
Yeah, and someone posted this. It says, you know what's even crazier? That there was another person that broke 2 hours and then didn't win the marathon. I mean,
that's got to suck. Can you imagine running 1:59.46 and you lose?
And you lost the thing. Just what an incredible feat, man. There's some things in life I know I will never do. Completing a marathon, it's one of them. I will never run in a marathon. I'll never compete in a marathon. I mean, I can see myself doing a 5K at one point. How long is a 5K? Let me look this up.
It's like 2 miles and change,
Hold on, let me look it up. Let me just look it up. I don't know.
I've done a 5K.
3.1 miles.
There you go.
I can see myself doing that.
I can't believe you haven't. Like for charity or something, go do it.
No one's ever asked me to do one before. I've never been asked to do one.
They're not really competitive. It's kind of like...
I know, I'm just saying, you think I'm just volunteering. Hey, you know what? You know how I think we can end this crisis is me running 5 miles. No, I've never thought that before. I would do it if someone was like, hey, will you do this for us? Yeah, I would consider doing it. This is equivalent. So running a 5K is equivalent to going around the track 12 and a half times. That is what a 5K is.
I said, I've done a 5K. It was like a charity event. I did not run the whole time, but no, I completed the task.
This is insane, bro. I'm serious. I can't imagine doing something like this. You know, if you're a marathon runner, I just want to tell you, man, salute to you.
Ironman people too. The triathlon, you got to do all three. Yeah,
man, no. 26 miles. Could I walk? Could I walk? If I could walk, I mean, it might take me a couple days, but I mean, I think I could do it. What's the slowest anybody's ever done a marathon? That's the record I'm trying to go for.
12 hours, probably?
Yeah, what's the slowest recorded marathon that we've ever seen? Salute to this individual. Again, a tremendous feat. I enjoy talking about that more than the NBA. I'm sure we'll talk about the NBA at some point, but this had to be discussed today. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Go Royals. That's the drive.
Tune in to hear the Hall of